Down, they just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Ding down, they just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Free up the guys, then dip out the ends. Jump in the ride, then burn out the rims. Don't stop, don't catch the boy that I'm in. Now we in the block with the up for events. Skin kept close, cause you plotting on them with the tits on 10. Back in the back, that's on tap, all ready to go and jump in. Ding down, they just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Ding down, they just think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard. Ding down, 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 ding.
Who am I? Who am I? Does this work? It's working. Luke still. Wait, does it? There, look at his sexy face.
It looks like it's working. Yeah, it looks like it's working.
God. It's been so long. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. If this doesn't work, if it breaks, I apologize. You have no idea what the last 2 hours have been. I've been so out of the game. Thank you everyone for joining us. If there are any issues, please let me know. It's good to be back. It's good to be back doing this podcast, even though all I see online is absolute misery and absolute wank discourse on Twitter. Me and Luke were talking about it. It's just like everyone's just being miserable as shit. And you know what? Honestly, Luke, you picked a bad time to come, because if you look at the title, everything is pretty much negative. There will be positivity.
Yeah.
There will be positivity.
We'll find a nugget of positivity in amongst all the shite, I think.
Yeah, no, we will. But it's kind of we're a creature of the discourse is a creature of the landscape at the moment. There's just been successive loads of just shit shows and a lot of stuff going on in the wider world. We'll get into it. Before we do, let me just give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Randoms, where have you been hiding? He says, where have you been hiding? I've been on holiday for the best part of a month. It's been a long break and kind of needed it, but it wasn't, I wasn't trying to get away from you guys. It was just I had to be away, but it's good to be back. Cole Eastwood, Epic Treasure, good to see you. Molten Pandora, Mad Madrigal, Grey Fox, Literal Table 756, that's a brilliant name. AJH, Boba Fett, always good to see you. Eli Zapp, welcome, man, welcome. Jonathan B, Cerebral Assassin, good to see you. Serendipity, Citizen Cyber, good to see you. Dark Star, and I think I've got Champagne Supernova in the sky. Good to see you, Champagne Supernova from Australia. Top Gamer Pro, good to see all of you. Thank you so much all for popping in. We're gonna get into it. Before we do though, I'm a bit rusty on this, so you'll have to ease me. Maybe you have to even take over, Mr. Guest, Luke Steele, who is making his first appearance, because this piece of this one is so hard to nail down because it always has scheduling conflicts. It was on Acer stuff a lot, and we finally got there, and we had this incredible gent when I think we were introduced to each other in the midst of the CMA ABK bullshit and all that bollocks, and that absolute mentalist, that what's his name? I forgot his name. Florian Mueller, that mad guy.
Yeah. Good guy.
Your face says it all. That was a weird time indeed, and I honestly, I love everything. Just the way you approach things. You are a very we're both solicitors, but you behave like one, and that's the difference. that's the difference. And I remember that whole shit. I was like, I knew straight away, like, this guy knows what he's talking about, and you've got that absolute weird pundit that's been it's just weird. But that weirdness brought us together, and I'm so glad that we're here to talk about quite a complicated landscape, and I think it's actually a good thing that you're here to kind of balance out my outlandish stupidity and not so well thought out musings as I splat verbal diarrhea on everyone. But there are some, I would say, sensitive topics considering the landscape, and that's impact gaming. So it would be really good to get your thought on things. I will catch up in the super chats. But before I do, Luke, what have you, just tell the people who are you? Who the hell are you? Because this is Septic Source. This is not Game On Daily. They might need to know a little bit about you. And holy shit, your setup, I've looked at it full screen right now. Looks amazing. You keep updating the shit out of that. That looks amazing, man. That looks pro.
Thanks, yeah. Yeah, thanks. It's taken a while to come together, that actually. Been adding to it over the years. I've got Predator staring intently over my shoulder. Actually behind my head, you can't see him.
I can't hear you. Your mic's
there's actually the Doomslayer behind as well. So
okay, can you do that again? I didn't see that. Can you sorry? Oh shit! Look at that. There.
Yeah. So they're taking a while, but yeah, I mean, in terms, we met on Game On Daily, right? Well, and I think the corollary to that was, we well, I was commenting on the ABK stuff that was going on and like chiming in because I had some experience of competition law in my practice, and that isn't my practice as a solicitor, but I've done it. My main practice is M&A, basically.
Wow.
So and like corporate restructurings and that sort of stuff. So yeah, stuff I really enjoy. And then ancillary to that, like obviously big gamer, which is what brought me into the AB. It wasn't really the law stuff that brought me into the ABK space. It was just that it was an interesting gaming thing that was going on that happened to be legal, right? Which is somewhat rare, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been gaming for, I don't know, 20 odd years, and I play on everything. I'm mainly PC gamer. Like kind of 95% of what I do, 90% of what I do is PC gaming.
PC Master Race.
PC MR, yeah. Yeah.
And you got beastly rig as well.
Yeah, pretty much the same rig as you, right? Like 5090 and stuff. So yeah. But yeah, it's I guess the last few weeks have been interesting, I suppose, is a way to say it. Like not necessarily in a good way though, like more in a kind of, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's been weird. I've been watching watching it from a distance. So I saw a lot of this. Silksong came out. You thought there'd be something to celebrate, but there was a lot of controversy around that, difficulty, blah blah blah. Everyone was just whinging, and I was just like, is it always like this? And because I never get to kind of peel away for a sustained period of time, I don't see that the bullshit is just there because I'm swimming in it. But I kept seeing it just got worse and worse and worse. There's a lot of negativity, despite the fact that it's quite a busy year and there's just games galore. Games. I am struggling so hard, just generally in life anyway, just to find any time for myself. But for gaming side, like there's so many good games coming out for me especially, like Battlefield. The beta was incredible. I enjoyed that so much. Can't wait for Battlefield 6. And then shortly after that, in terms of multiplayer, we're finally going to get Arc Raiders. And I didn't even get to play the alpha, and I haven't even looked at the gameplay footage apart from like a couple of clips, and I'm just like, yo, this game could finally, well, other than Battlefield 6, there's a fresh new IP, a new multiplayer game that I've been sorely missing. Finals grabbed me a little bit here and there, but there's that. Obviously, Expedition 33 has been the swan song for that. I've got so many games that I bought. Cronos, I haven't even got to play. I was away. Just finished that. What do you think about Cronos? Is it good?
I loved it. Yeah, I was really surprised because, like, did you play Silent Hill 2 Remake last year?
No, I didn't.
So before that, Bloober for me were like the drizzling shits. They were awful. Like, hated everything that they did. Didn't maybe Observer was like okay if you played that was pretty cool. But other than that, just like their gameplay was uninteresting. Storytelling was really bad. And then Silent Hill 2 Remake came out and it was superb. Like I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, we all wrote it off and it ended up being good.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote it off. Yeah, I was like, "There's no way this is going to be good." It's Bloober making it, and it was one of my favorite games last year. And then, obviously, they revealed Cronos, and I was like, "Okay, it's one thing to take like a set story and atmosphere, and from Silent Hill 2 from an original game, but it's another thing to like then make your own.
Yeah,
make an interesting story of your own when you have a history of not really doing that." And yeah, I finished it last week, and I just thought it was fantastic. Like the story is genuinely really good, really interesting, really cool time period, and the atmosphere is Silent Hill-esque, I suppose, not with the fog, but it's a good atmosphere, and it's got these like really cool gameplay mechanics. I don't know if you've seen them, but there's kind of like the main one is this merging mechanic where enemies can merge with the dead bodies of other enemies that you've killed, and if you don't stop them from doing that, then they become like extra strong and you have to waste more ammo on killing them. They have new abilities, and so the game is like this really interesting thing of you can burn dead bodies to prevent that from happening, but it's a limited resource that you get to do that. So you're kind of always balancing this really survival horror balancing act of ammo and these other resources that you need to maybe stop enemies from merging, and where do I use it? Do I use it here? If I'm going to backtrack, should I use it here just in case? And even like the shooting mechanic, right? You do the most damage when you charge your shots. So, but when you charge, obviously it takes time for you to do it. So like you're under pressure when you do that, and you've got your aim sways as well, unless you upgrade your gun. So it's got all these like really, like they're not like super new things in survival horror necessarily, but they're just really interesting when they all come together, and they come together in this world. So I'd really would, if you like if anybody likes survival horror, it's genuinely an excellent game. So
yeah, definitely. I'm so glad about that, because that came out kind of was I think it's while I was away on holiday, and I was this is one I was keeping an eye out on, and I was thinking like you, I still have to play Silent Hill 2 remake, and I remember a lot of us were critical and doubtful of it, understandably so, because Bloober haven't really proven themselves. But I thought, well, hold on a minute, if Cronos does well as a new IP, now surely. Now can we? Surely they've earned the benefit of the source. Now they can be regarded as, okay, welcome back. You've learned your lesson. Lessons, multiple. Because what was the first game that came out with the Series X? They split while
the Medium.
Medium, that's
the
it.
Medium. Yeah.
And
awful.
Yeah, awful. I could tell straight away this is a launch shitty type. But you know what? Respect to them, man. Like, we all make mistakes, we all learn and stuff. And a lot of studios haven't had the chance to learn. And there's one glaring example of a game I thoroughly actually enjoyed. Well, after the fact, you probably can guess what game I'm talking about, but the studio got shut down anyway, and also a survival horror game. Which game would you think that would be? Trivia time, Luke.
Oh, Callisto.
Yeah, there you go.
Callisto. Yeah. Yeah, that was like, it was another. I mean, that was a really cool concept game, like. And super high budget. It was Glenn Schofield, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That headed up, former Dead Space. And I really enjoyed that as well. Like, it wasn't amazing, but you could see it was a series that had like real potential. I think for me, where they went wrong with that was the melee stuff.
Yeah.
Like I felt it was a bit weird, like not super interesting. But yeah, it's a shame that they didn't get another opportunity, but I guess it's because the budget was so high and it just commercially just did not do well at all, did it? So and critically as well, it wasn't particularly revered. So
it wasn't. It's one of those games where I actually enjoyed it a lot more than everyone else did. So every time I say I enjoyed Callisto Protocol, someone will, like, Michael in chat says Callisto Protocol is horrible, and a lot of people will say it wasn't fun. For me, it was just, especially later on, the melee and all the stuff I hated and complained about, it just snapped, and it really just got soaked into the atmosphere, and it was so visceral. If you go back, it's the way you smack something, the physics worked really well. I remember smacking something and the blood just splattered on the wall, and the guys, because the ragdoll just slumped against the wall, it was an uncanned animation, and just, I was like, I get what they're trying to go for, because they created Dead Space, they wanted an up close and brutal game. It just, I feel like if Glenn Schofield, and he did actually opine about this a few weeks ago, where he was saying that, I don't think I'll get another chance in this space. He was very pessimistic about the landscape at present because of things like the budget. But hopefully, I reckon he'll come. I hope he can come back. But Cronos is a good one. Is a good segue. Well, it's a good. I'm just grateful because you have good taste in games, and we tend to align on. we tend to broadly align.
I think so.
On a lot of the games that we do play, so I'm really grateful that Cronos turned up really well. I don't know if you've played Silksong. I have never played Silksong. I played the first one, Hollow Knight, and I didn't really like it. I didn't gel with it. But then I saw Gene Park was saying the same thing. And then he went back and he enjoyed it. And clearly I have to give it more time. I spent a few maybe an hours on it. It was like a poorer Ori to me. But people are saying it's really good. So maybe it's just me.
I love the first one. I really love the first one. Yeah. I've only briefly played Silksong for now, because like it demands a lot of attention and time, that game, because Metroidvanias generally do, right? And they're very hard games to drop and then pick back up, because they're not the games that are conducive to being like, I know exactly where I am and what to do when I've picked it back up after dropping it for weeks. So I've been saving that for like long trips or something, like to start that. I wanted to get through Cronos, and I've been playing Shinobi as well. Which is awesome.
That's great.
But I just want to finish that, and then I will probably move on to Silksong. But it might be like a game that I keep putting off, because it is such a time commitment, and also it's hard, right? Like it's a really difficult game. The first one was very difficult in parts. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how like eager I am to go into that environment yet.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot. The thing that I saw about it that kind of pissed me off, the same thing that happened to Liza P, is I like the difficulty scaling, and then when people, when I would go back to it, they're like, people have already said, oh, you're playing the easy version, because they updated the game and now they made it actually easy. And they did the same thing with Silksong apparently, and I'm like, well, it's not that those purists annoy me much. I actually wanted the difficult one just for like the sense of personal achievement. I don't want it to be like updated and out of my hands to play the easier version. I feel like I'm kind of getting hard done by with that. And I saw the arguments surrounding the difficulty. Actually, while you're here, I guess I'll pick your brains on this or discuss this with you. I've seen a lot of discourse around this, and I think I was in a chatting to someone in a WhatsApp group about this, and we're debating this point about difficulty. A lot of people are like, oh, you should be, there were proponents for having difficulty options and stuff like that after the fact, and that, people who are claiming, who complain about games being made easier, or the options being added to make a game easier. Like, say, for instance, Sifu. Sifu originally launched is a very difficult game, in my opinion. It's quite brutal, and it demands that you learn the timing and things like that. It became such a problem that people complained about it, that they ended up going in and introducing a difficulty mode, and I was against that. And a lot of people will come back to me, or rightly or wrongly, they'll say, well, why are you so against it? What's that got to do with you? It's an option being added to the game that you don't have to use, but others can, who are struggling in the game. They can enjoy the game. And my counter to that is, I enjoy I feel like there's a spirit of a game, and that when game developers go out their way, they create a certain image of a game, like, and Miyazaki, not Miyazaki, what am I talking about? The people behind a lot of your Soulsborne games, Elden Ring, they understand, they don't really capitulate to these kind of things, but there's a sanctity of that game, and I feel like if you start doing that and pandering to that element of it, it kind of dilutes the art form of it a little bit. You might think, well, that's being very selfish, Gaz, because you have this idea of the sanctity of that medium, and then you're now saying that because that option benefits someone else, you're pissed off about it. But I'm like, if you keep doing that with games, I just feel like that the experience becomes meaningless. It's like having a piece of art and then going out of your way to explain it for someone who may not understand the nuances of art. If you go to an art gallery, I went to the Louvre on Wednesday. I was in Paris this week, and I went to see the art, and a lot of it I like is the interpretation of the art. But then I looked at a lot of the artwork, and they had just masses of explanations around it and all the different themes, and I was like, piss off, man, let me figure it out for myself. Like, why are you explaining this shit to me? It wasn't even just telling me the artwork's from here, and this is what it did, this is what it's about. It's just explaining this, and then there's some elements of it that were like, oh, some like this diatribe and this explanation. I'm like, fuck, just let me enjoy it. I don't know, what do you think about that? Is it just me being really just being weird about it, or do you think that the sanctity of a game can be compromised by adding difficulty options to enable other people to play the game or enjoy the game easier than others?
I think I fall probably a little bit differently than you do, but only because I totally understand the argument, and I, to some extent, I agree with it, where you have like, it is like the creative intent behind a lot of these games is very specific. It's meant to reward perseverance and, you know, learning the game, especially like your Souls games made by From, right? On the other hand, like for me, so long as you would have an option that is like the curated, creative, intended experience, you know, in say Elden Ring, for example.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have an issue with then there being an option, like even in an accessibility option that says you can increase your damage by X or increase, you know, decrease boss health by Y or whatever, right? Because I think it's cool that other people get to experience that, albeit perhaps, you know, they're not necessarily experiencing the actual creative intent behind that game. But if that's something someone wants to do, I don't have an issue with it, so long as the actual, you know, the mode which is meant, you know, the creative is meant to be played is still available. It's if they start to blur, that's when I would have the issue of it, because then I think, okay, well, that's, you know, I don't like that again. And as you said, like it's an interesting selfish argument, right? But like at least people can see that it's, you know, that kind of thing. So
I would argue actually it's not always selfish. I'll give you an example. Like for instance, when you play Elden Ring and someone says, "Oh, how did you beat? I haven't even beat Melania, but say you beat Melania," and you're like, "That was an experience." Right? When someone says they beat Melania, or say for instance Sekiro, they say, "How was that?" So Rand was like, "That Ishin fight is going to kill you," almost like it was brutal. Now there's a sense, not like you will respect that. You know, if there was a difficulty mode, you can have an easy mode with Ishin and the last boss in Sekiro. I don't think it'd feel the same. So when you're talking to someone, you kind of like, and this is going to sound so lame, I guess, for lack of a better word, but you bond over, or you have a, like, you know, vibe over the fact that, holy shit, you know, we went through that stuff. Like, you just have to say Ishin. Yeah. You have to say a Sekiro. There's no easy mode in Sekiro. You can't even level farm in Sekiro. It's all about parrying. It's all about learning your timing and learning the moves, and it's brutal. And when someone says, "Oh yeah, I beat Ishin," I was like, "You beat Sekiro," there's this like there's a sense of, oh shit, we both went through some mad shit, so you did it. When someone says they beat Sekiro, it's like, there's this kind of, you bond with over the challenge that we had overcome together. And I think that a lot of gaming just completely gets rid of that. So the like, I'm sure there's some multitude of games, Luke, where they have easy difficulty modes, almost all of them. But wouldn't it be nice from a Puritan standpoint where you reserve some of these games to have their just no option, unadulterated difficulty, so that when you do speak to someone about it, it's like, yeah, we did that. Yeah, you did that. Yeah. Amazing. And if you start introducing difficulty modes, I just feel like that completely goes away. It's like, because then we go, what mode did you do it on? It's like, you did it on this. It's just like, the moment you introduce that, it just becomes less interesting.
Yeah. The problem is you have nuance even within that, which is that, like, you know, you talk about like Melania, for example, or the particularly hard bosses of Elden Ring, but then you have like elitists that will be like, well, what did you use?
Yeah.
You know, did you use a mimic tier?
Yeah, mimic tier.
And if you were like, yeah, of course I did, then some people won't consider you to have like really done anything successful at all in that game. So where does it end? You know what I mean?
That is true.
So like for me, like, and also I think if we're distilling games down and saying that the experience of the game is like at its core about difficulty and about beating the game and having that be hard, I think you're also then disregarding all the other fantastic creativity of the game, right? And for me, people should be able to experience, you know, maybe they want to experience everything the game has to offer, but they just don't want to experience the difficulty. And I don't really have a problem with that, as long as you don't get rid of the difficulty for other people. That's it. But I get the argument. I totally get your argument.
Yeah, I feel you. And someone in the chat actually said the same thing. Said that, you know, what did they say? They're like, I need those difficulty modes to go through that stuff. I don't have time.
Yeah.
And I completely understand. If it were up to me, that person may not be able to complete the game because of my whatever stance on it. And obviously that seems a little bit harsh, isn't it? So
yeah. And I mean, like for me, is like I think the problem is that okay, like some people will want the difficulty option, like the choice, because they're shit, right? And they just can't do it. They just cannot do it.
They're shit.
But for other people, they may actually legitimately need accessibility because they may need accessibility options. They may have disabilities that mean that they cannot play this game. And I don't think they should be excluded from the games. Like the audience for that game shouldn't be, well, it's someone who is fully bodied and able to actually do it. Do you know what I mean? So and like it's a really fine balancing act with the From games, right? Because their experience is so curated around this like difficulty. But yeah, it's difficult. I'd like it to be wider, but as long as it doesn't interfere with like me getting my ass kicked by Melania like 7 million times, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, there's nuance to it. There are a lot of I understand. I appreciate the arguments, and you've kind of summed it up. And that's a good point about people with disabilities. Like then you're completely, you know. But then at the same time, the part of me is everyone's gonna be like, oh, someone clips this, is gonna gaz, you're such a cock. But I'm really like. It's not like I'm not saying tough luck. It's just like, well, where do you draw the line then? There's like, you know, we can't have any of those type of games. Not every game has to be for everyone. And even saying that alone can get weaponized just by someone really like you're just being a dick. I understand both all sides to it. I just feel I'm on that one side of just keep it. Not every game has to be for everyone else. Before we go to the next topic, I want to say shout out to everyone who's been super chat and the members. We got Gaming with Passion. I don't know if that's
Amin, yeah.
Huh?
I know Gaming with Passion. Amin, yeah, it's good dude, really good dude.
Oh, good. Welcome to being a Septic subscriber. I thought the Gaming Passion was that doctor that doxed someone on the operating table. Gaming Passion guy. I thought it was
I forgot about him. I just remembered about with
He took a selfie.
Yeah, take it. Yeah.
It's not him, right? He's not there with an operating table and constant work.
Yeah.
Because he was called Gaming Passion. Why is Resident Evil 6 and Halo 5 Luke's favorite game, says Gaming Passion?
Yeah, it's a running joke that they're not my favorite. Both of those games are shit. They're shit. They're absolutely shit. I hate them both. They need to go away.
Yeah, I mean, with Resident Evil 6, why did you hate Resident Evil 6?
I hated Resident Evil 6 because what Capcom tried to do for Resident Evil 6 was like from 4 onwards. Well, actually, go back from 5. When 5 came out, most people liked 5. But people were very wary that it was getting more and more action orientated and going away from survival horror, which was a fair criticism. Like I loved 5, but I understood the criticism about that.
Yeah.
And so Capcom were like, well, what we'll try and do is we'll try and please everyone. So we'll do like 3 campaigns in one, and we'll have like Leon's campaign be like the survival horror-esque element, but kind of with a bit of action. And then we'll have these other campaigns that are more action orientated and blah, blah, blah. And by doing that, they just fucking vaporized all the fun out of the game and the spirit of the game.
Yeah.
And they went even further than 5 had in terms of the action stuff. So it was just a mess to me. It was a mess. And 6 is why they had to go way back to basics for 7, right? Yeah. To get it back to even perspective change, to be like, we need to freshen it up. We need to make it more survival horror. And so 6 is great in a way because it led to 7 and 8 and, you know, the remakes and all that stuff, but awful. Yeah. Awful. Yeah. What, did you like it, or were you kind of the same as me?
Same as you. And actually, I was with RE5 and even RE4. Obviously, it was a big game changer. I remember the moment came out on GameCube, big fireplace. That's the whole thing. Whole game. I think very early on, I was very disappointed with the fact that the spirit of Resident Evil was dwindled in favor of action, and I never. Yeah. But I remember Resident Evil 2. I remember Resident Evil, even Code Veronica. It's something about it. It scared the shit out of me. It was so unsettling. Yeah. And RE4 was, and since RE4, I haven't played 7. Well, I played briefly, but I've actually reserved it finally for this to just stream it. I have not seen anything on it. I'm going to stream all of it, and just like in maybe potentially one sitting. So I'm intrigued about that. But the older game, they just completely lost that spirit for me. And I was just like, I've never been. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed RE4. I enjoyed RE5, but it was just they became a bit Fast and Furious to me. They're just like that's not. So I'm kind of glad Capcom actually gone back. Now the perspective change is an interesting one, and whether or not that still gels with me, because when I think of Resident Evil, I think of Resident Evil 2 going into that shop, in Raccoon City, and just feeling just weird. It's just even now, even the slow blumbering zombies, they weren't as mobile, but they scared the shit out of me.
The music as well in RE2, like the police station music.
Yeah,
it's like beautiful but horrible. It's unsettling. Do you know what I mean? So like,
the slow door opening.
The slow door stuff. Yeah, and sometimes you get the enemy that would pop through the slow door, and then you'd load and face them. So yeah, it was they kind of went away from it. 7 and 8 go back to that spirit, and the first person perspective helps. What I will say is that I felt Village, which is 8, obviously, towards like the latter half of that, it starts to get very actiony again. And I was like, oh, okay, like you need to just pull back on this. Like it's a great game, but I was like, you need to just pull back on this ever so slightly here, because you're going back to old habits.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's just the action element of it. Interesting. I mean, Resident Evil 3, was it Nemesis? Yeah, that was
Nemesis,
a bit. That was very actiony at the end of it, but it still scared me.
That was quite actiony. Yeah. Oh, Nemesis scared the shit out of me. Yeah. I used to be terrified. And just like back in the day, being able to just like he would just chase you through the zones. It was just scary as shit, man.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued to play 7 and 8. I feel like the only thing I'm worried about is someone's just going to come in and just spoil the shit out of it, but it's still going to be scary. Gaz, point the camera down and show us your Silksong. What? What the hell is that about? Champagne Supernova, thank you for that weird super chat. Shabs, good to see you, man. Finally, Gaz is back. I thought Phil boycotted Gaz, but Microsoft had probably boycotted me like I've boycotted them. So, and we'll talk about boycotts in a bit, actually. But that was good. We were just talking about random positive stuff. See, although we had to go back.
Yeah,
a few years.
We had to go back. 20 years for us.
But still, managed to weave in some positivity. That's good. Look, I guess we'll have to talk about. Might as well talk about it now, because you brought up the whole talk about boycotts. So it's been a weird time. Funnily enough, I've been in America. I enjoyed the States, loved the people. I love American people, man. They're so chill. Like, generally, American people are so chill. When I come back to London, everyone's so fucking miserable. It's like, oh my God. And I know they work for the tip stuff. They work 0 contract hours or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't care, because the people are so nice. They have to work for their tips.
They earn it, right? They earn it.
But they're so nice. But I just feel like genuinely they were just nice as well. It wasn't just working for the tips. They just really went out their way. And it worked, because I was just tipping the shit out of that. I was just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I got my bank balance to a hit because I didn't want to be a prick coming over and not tipping. I don't know what is enough. I don't know what percentage is enough. I had to do the max tipping thing. They had the 3 options. Like, fuck it. I'm just getting work. Sometimes I pay more than the freaking bill. I don't get it. It's so weird. It's like, but at the same time, I will say I appreciate it. Just the general it's just people are nice. I went to San Fran. San Fran though is like Walking Dead in the morning. You go to downtown San Fran, is just fentanyl addicts. I've never seen a fentanyl addict until I went to San Fran, because there were people just frozen. It was like that Ray Shrummer music video. Everyone's just like just frozen. I was like, I've got videos on my phone. There was like. And my mate, he bought a brand new pair of shoes, and within 3 minutes, he stepped on what looked like human shit in downtown San Fran. It was just, I couldn't believe it. It was just like, what the hell is this? What is going on? It's the first, my mate's never been to the States before. He was just shocked. I was like, what is going on?
Even you went to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going there a couple of years, and it'll be the same now, but I went there a couple of years ago, and you're walking along the strip, and you would just walk kind of in really touristy areas, like super touristy areas, and just like the amount of like homeless people like living on the streets there, like people in real trouble. It was really depressing actually to see like the contrast of like the excess of Vegas and then people just struggling to live. It's
mad.
It's mad. Yeah.
It's like you are in the dystopia. There's so much shit going on in the world, but it hits you there because it's Vegas. It's like you're staying at like some opulent little everything is just glitz, glamour, 5-star everything. It's just amazing. And then you go out and it's boiling hot. It's a desert. You have to remember that because it's hot. and then you just see a bunch of people just there, like lined up. And it's like, yo, what the hell's going on? But generally, I would say that everyone was really lovely and nice, because I always knew that about a lot of Americans. And then as soon as I came back, I feel like I was the glue holding America together. No, I wasn't. Boom! What happens? Some crazy madness happens. Obviously, what happened with Charlie Kirk, which is insane. And what that's done is split a lot of the gaming community. I would feel like, a lot of America, I think I would say, a lot of Americans had a kind of fallout here as well, because you've got the conservatives and liberal kind of dynamic here as well. And you know, with Tommy, I came back here in England, and mate, it's just UK flags and Union Jack flags everywhere. And I'm not, my mate's like, yeah, it's England, mate, Gaz, come on. Well, what you? I'm like, yeah, but you know that's Tommy Robinson's lot. That's nothing to do with suddenly, after God knows how many decades I've been in this country, now people have become really patriotic. It's obviously a symptom of the extremes of it, who've hijacked what flag means. And I felt like, oh, right, this is a bit weird. We're here now. I come back from America, like, what's going on? But it's kind of sad, because my friends are impacted by it. I've kind of stayed in the middle, as I try to with politics anyway, generally, because I had, to me, I recognize the fact that they're just both two sides of the same coin. I feel like when I go to America, it's just really lovely people, and then the politics comes in to serve the 1% by dividing people, and it's really been more and more apparent with what's happening with Charlie Kirk, which is a horrible thing. I never agreed with, I think, a single word that came out of that guy's mouth. I do not respect. I did not respect anything that came out of his mouth. I wouldn't say I loathe the guy, but just terrible things came out of his mouth, and as far as I'm concerned. But it was really hard to see what happened to him. And then you've got that discourse slipping into gaming, because then I saw an odd, I would not say surprising, because I kind of seen this on the liberal side of things as well, where in the US, where there's a little bit of a double standard there, I feel like, where people started celebrating his death, and game devs started doing that, and they did that quite loudly, proclaiming or celebrating and mocking. But I have also seen this with George Floyd. I've seen the far right do this with George Floyd as well, and just really tasteless. I just chalked it up to dark humor, because I understand dark humor. I really dark humor is my way of coping with things anyway. But it turned into a real problem. Whereas my friends, Americans mostly in my friend circle, were just going at each other. Communities within the gaming community are just blocking people, just making lists, like excluding people now. Like if you aligned with or supported it, or a lot of people thought it was an issue about not being patriotic enough. It's a minefield to kind of navigate, to even discuss it. I guess me and you, kind of being English, kind of a little bit withdrawn from it.
Yeah.
But then the game devs started chiming in, and then they started getting fired. And it happened with Ghost of Yotei. Yotei, sorry, I always butcher the name. Ghost of Yotei. We've had the lady that voices it. People are like just boycotting it now because she was a member of Antifa or something like that. Some game dev was celebrating it and then got fired about it and loudly proclaimed that they didn't care. They were on B-Sky B, whatever. I don't know what's going on. And right now, even the most hardcore of some of the weirdest, the basement dwelling PlayStation fanboys and Xbox fanboys, they're all come to in unison on some of these political points. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong or right on that point. It's like clearly an issue that impacts them. It's kind of sad to see that division being sown into gaming, but I'm not surprised. And the biggest shame about all this, Luke, is the fact that with Ghost of Yotei, everyone's boycotting it, and it really hurts me because they're not boycotting it because it's got shitty graphics like the PS4 graphics, man. That game sucks ass. That's a PlayStation 4 game, you pony mother. Sorry, I'm being a dick. Talking about the seriousness, I just had to be a cock and talk about shitty graphics. It's got shit graphics, man. Digital Foundry, I am waiting for your thing, man, because I don't know what you're gonna do if the final game is gonna have incredible, like completely different graphics to what they've shown, man. That game looks like a fucking PS4 game. We found out today the budget is the same as Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm like, of course, it's the same freaking game. Anyway, sorry, I've gone into a massive tangent. It was really bad. I was being serious, and I just couldn't do it. Look, sorry, I'll park the shitty graphics to one side. I'm such a dick. What do you think about this whole boycott thing? Where do you stand with it? And should we get our country back?
I'm not Tommy Robinson, so my answer to that is not going to be yes. The boycott stuff, more than anything, it just annoys me because look, if you want to boycott, like if you I mean, on the Yotei thing, it's interesting to me because it almost seems like some people wanted an excuse not to boycott the game, if you know what I mean. Because for example, this developer that posted on B Sky B, they were fired, right? So, and whether you agree with that or not, like that's what happened. And if your reason for boycotting was because the developer said that, like one developer in a sea of like 150, 200 people, however many Sucker Punch have, you know, if your reaction to that is then, well, I'm still boycotting the game, but why? You got what you wanted, didn't you? Like the developer has gone, so the person who caused the controversy has gone. So yeah, I fundamentally don't understand that point of view. I really don't understand it. And also because, like, again, irrespective of your views on anything, one developer does not speak for an entire studio, no matter what position they hold, right? Like if we work for the same law firm, I think we agree on a lot of stuff actually, but you know, your views wouldn't, you know, they don't reflect those of the entire law firm, because a firm, a company is all it is a construct of people. It's just made up of people that have, in some cases, wildly divergent views about almost everything in life. So maybe just don't, you know, if I don't really care if people buy it or not, but don't stick your flag in a particular reason. And when the reason goes away, go, oh, actually, I'm still doing it because I want to.
Yeah, like, I find that weird.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. On a certain level, I do. Like for there are some games I boycotted. I boycotted Destiny 2 because they didn't have PvP servers in for their dedicated servers for their PvP, and I felt like the game was just lazy cash grab. And I've spent a lot of time on Destiny 1. I just felt like, what, this is barely a sequel. If I start supporting things like this, I know where this is going, and that's basically where we are now. The other game I boycotted was The Last of Us because of Neil Druckmann's association with, you know, Israel and the Zionists, and mostly because of the agenda behind the game and the story behind the game, which he has pronounced has been covered a lot. I don't expect anyone else to follow my these are my personal things. I would never look down on someone for choosing to play. All my friends have played it, and I really want to play the Intergalactic. I know that game is going to be amazing. I just know it's going to be amazing, but it's coming from what I consider a piece of shit human being, and I just can't do it in good conscience. Even though that's kind of my kind of game. Same thing, like I find myself at odds now. You may have noticed, even though I'd still take the piss out of PlayStation and just like a jokey way on Twitter, when it comes to Microsoft and Xbox, I just can't. Just the ick with and I get it. They're just it's a megacorp. Satya Nadella, whatever he does, you had Arcane Leon working on Blade. Their whole teams were boycotting Microsoft. They had boycott or recognize what's happening because of Microsoft's involvement with what's happening in the Middle East. Even their own teams under their own umbrella are going against what Microsoft's mandate or policy is. And yet I still find it hard to separate the two because you know, and it's like, where do you draw the line? You know, where we work, we use Outlook, or what solicitor's going to use Linux, so we're going to be screwed otherwise. We can't, you know, can't escape it. Microsoft's like Oxygen, Microsoft Word, like Office, everything, OneDrive, all that. I can't escape it. Google signed up an agreement. I'm on YouTube right now, and Coke, everything on the boycott list is pretty much everything. When the half of it's probably in my room. So I get the fact that people will take a position on it. there may be a greater reason why people are maintaining their boycott reasons, but I haven't seen it because the thing, like you said, the thing that you were complaining about, they fired people, man. Like, I thought that's it. Hurrah, we can go past it. But maybe it's deeper than that. However, I haven't seen anyone go, all right, now I can buy the game. I've mostly seen people maintain that position and say, you know, I'm not buying that game. And they may have valid reasons for it. I haven't really looked that deeply into it. But it's a weird thing where I think, do you think, or actually, let me ask you, do you think it will make a difference to the sales? Or will it just a small
think so. Yeah, no, I don't. I think I always try and like extract myself from like X and looking on it because it's very much a microcosm of just anger, right? And you see like it doesn't reflect. I don't think it's ever reflected broader sentiment of people. So I think if you look at where it's doing in like pre-order charts and stuff, it's pretty high already across Amazon, on the PlayStation Store and stuff. So I don't think it will have like super massive impact on how well the game does. And also because, as you said right at the start, right, the game has the same budget as Tsushima, about $60 million apparently. It won't need to actually sell
that much
a lot to return like a profit on that. So which is actually really great because we talk about game budgets spiraling, right? And like they've managed to, I don't know how, because it's a Seattle studio. It must be like people get paid well there. So I don't know how the budgets remain so low, but
have you seen the graphics?
Yeah. So maybe it's the visuals. But yeah, maybe it is. You know, they haven't like massively done anything with their engine. I think probably the only main thing it improves on visually from Tsushima is draw distance. They've clearly tried to like push that out, but everything else is pretty much as it was.
There's an extreme amount of continuity with the first game.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to it though. I must say, I really like Tsushima. So
I love Tsushima.
Yeah,
I'm just mindful. So my brother, who bought a PS5 Pro, he gave it to me. He goes, "You didn't buy your PS5." Then he bought the PS5 Pro. He's like, "You know what? Just take it. I'm not playing it." And I'm like, "Oh, should I wait for the PC version, or should I get the PS5 Pro version?" But I you know what? I love Ghost of Tsushima, and I hate Assassin's Creed formulaic, that formula of games. Jin Sakai, his story, things like the showdown element, the music, the whole vibe of it, all of it sold it to me. And also the kind of more minimalistic UI stuff, that matters a lot to me.
Really nice,
Yeah, it just clears up the clutter on the screen. This one, though, I wonder where it will land. Part of me thinks it will definitely score better than the first one, because I think the first one's, again, I just use Metacritic for the sake of discussion. Please don't think that like I'm prescribing to that being the exact science or the apex of where we need to assess games and judge. It's just I have to have some point of reference, right? But I would say even on that point of reference, as flawed as it is, Ghost of Tsushima's evidence of how flawed Metacritic can be as well, because I think it was saying like 83 or 80.
Yeah, it was low 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I felt like, and to me, Spider-Man 1 is overrated. And I'm like, swap the two Metacritics around because Ghost of Tsushima was something really well crafted. I think this will definitely score better. It might end up like the 87, 88 meta, maybe. I reckon that's where it'll probably end up.
Yeah, I think it'll end up there. It'll be interesting to see, as you say, how it's received. I'm not one of those that subscribe to, like, people talk about Jin a lot, and I don't think Jin's that interesting a character. Like, in terms of characterization, personality, he's not that interesting. His journey is really interesting.
Yes.
And like what happens in the game is really interesting. So I wasn't ever like a Jin absolutist, like, because his story ended with that game, and it wrapped up really nicely, I thought. So
yeah, it was really good.
I
didn't want another Jin, by the way. I just didn't want another Jin. So like, I mean, Atsu looks interesting. It's going to be interesting to me. Well, Atsu's interesting because, in a sense of completely different from Jin, right? There's none of the samurai dichotomy
of doing those things. Like, it's pure revenge, pure blood mercenary stuff. So what is going to be interesting is how they make that story more interesting than it seems on paper, because it's a very kind of trodden out story, really. Like, we've seen this kind of story a lot of times before. That's not necessarily fatal to it, but I think they will have to do things that make that journey more interesting, which I'm sure they will do. But I think for me, that's the bit I'm most interested about, what the reception will be like.
I and that element, I'm skeptical on Atsu, because she's a woman and women shouldn't be. I am gonna be. I'm skeptical about it only because none of what I saw was. I don't know. I just didn't. Nothing about her. Again, very brief.
Could have said the same for Jin though, right, in the pre-release. Like, nothing was particular, and like nothing. Even if Atsu isn't like Jin herself interesting as a character, that's not fatal to story in the same way that it was in Tsushima, right? Because Tsushima, again, I didn't find Jin that interesting, but I found the story, his journey, really, really cool.
I kind of liked Jin. I don't think he was a massively compelling character, though. You're right. I think more it's the extension of what he was representing and what that meant. You know, getting away from the samurai, the creed and the sanctity of that.
Yeah.
To the point where even on gameplay, sometimes I would opt for stealth, and I felt a bit guilty about it. I'm like, oh, am I doing? I felt like almost at one point I thought, is the game judging me for taking what is the easy way out? Am I going to get a better ending or something? You know, there was it kind of sold that well, so, and that's why I really enjoyed that story element of it. But I do agree with you. I think maybe Jin wasn't as strong a protagonist as people like to think. I think there's a little bit of, I think maybe revisionism there, or just looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, or not being able to separate the wider, the wider things that the game was doing through its story and setting that maybe perhaps guide people into thinking what Jensuke was greater than he actually was. Whether or not Atsu is going to be interesting remains to be seen. I just feel like also, and this is going to be a very controversial take, but I genuinely feel, I'm not just saying it for the sake of it, PlayStation's last gen PlayStation kind of cemented themselves for these third-person action adventure or third-person games, story-based single-player games, and they always push the bar as well visually. I think, although I would say Ghost of Tsushima, if you remember correctly, it wasn't exactly the best, but it was best of its kind in terms of open world games. But it's still, it did enough. Whereas with this, we're in another generation, and I really, other than a couple of scenes where you see that draw distance that you mentioned, which is the big distinguishing factor between this and the old one. And the when they amp up a lot of the particles, because there's been an abundance of, there's some scenes where you see like a horde of horses running around and a lot of that. I think the abundance of the kind of particles and them upgrading all the leaves and stuff to the max does add to the visual canvas of the game. And I think the art style will carry this game visually massively because it looks sublime in terms of that. I genuinely was disappointed because every time I thought Ghost of Tsushima 2, which would be, at the time, I had this idea of the game, what it would look like in the next gen leap. And I feel like this one's honed it in quite a bit. When I did see the reveal trailer, I genuinely asked if this was a DLC. And it kind of reminded me of my issues with Destiny 2. And I feel like that. I know there's a lot of trolling involved. A lot of God of War, Ragnarok is that DLC stuff, and but there's an element of kind of truth. There's a basis upon which people start asking that question, and now you've got God of War, and the PlayStation Studios. I understand games development is so expensive. What do? Do you resign them to burgeoning budgets where they spend decades or ages to build a game as you finally see the sequel to a game, which is like Cory Barlog was saying, I don't want to spend another 6 years to finish this, telling this story. I get it. But at the same time, when we're moving across generations, I want to see a generational leap in things. This game seems to have honed it very conservatively. So that adds a lot of pressure in my mind on things like the gameplay and the revisions to the gameplay, the additions as well, and the story and the character. So it adds a little bit more pressure. Whereas there's something that looks visually better or generationally upgraded, reviews will be a little bit more forgiving, in my opinion. But we'll find out next week because that's when the reviews come out. So
yeah, next.
Yeah, chat.
Friday, is it? I think it's Friday.
Is it Friday? I don't know. Chat.
Yeah,
Do you
Thursday
know?
or Friday.
Thursday or
I
Friday.
think.
That's going to be interesting. Internet's going to be making memes. We're going to have the boycott lot going crazy, and we're going to have console warring, and you'll have me talking about the graphics because I just come on, man. Look, I know I'm a basic bitch when it comes to graphics and stuff like that, and then console warring and shit, but. Yeah. PlayStation guys, you guys made a big thing about graphics and PlayStation first party stable, and I'm not gonna lie, bro. Ghost of Yotei looking like a PS4 game glorified. That game can run on a PS4, but you're not a tech director, guys. It just trust me, it can. I reckon it can. Chat, I'm gonna ask you Ghost of Yotei review scores. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Metascore, Yotei Metascore prediction. I'm going to put a poll up. Metascore prediction. Let me know what you think. Shout out to 125 of you in the chat. Smash the like button. Also, I noticed, by the way, I was watching some of my older content. And I fucking hate it. But I was watching it. And when I did say smash the like button, the AI shit picked up the thing and just highlighted the like button. Did you notice this stuff? That's crazy, man. Google's going full Skynet. 90 plus. I don't know how I'm doing this poll. It's going to be terrible. 85 to 89. I feel like that's a little thing in itself. 80 to 84 and less than 70. I doubt it will be less than 70. Where do you think? Yeah, but you already said where it's going to be.
Yeah, I think at that 85 to 89 range, I would personally be surprised if it broke through the 90s.
Yes.
Just on the basis that just on the basis that like it does look very iterative from the first game. And like not necessarily a bad thing, but it I don't know, like it would be strange, right, for it to, and it could be a 90. I don't know. I've not played it. I've got no idea, but it doesn't necessarily look like it's doing so much so differently and so much better just from pre-release that it would break through the 90. But it might have like a tremendous story, and you know the open world might be amazing and stuff like that. So. I don't know. I do think it will look better visually once you get it in person, though. But I agree. I don't think it looks like. Yeah, it's a bunch of weird because do you remember when Infamous Second Son was revealed, and up for the PlayStation 4, and it looked incredible. Like it looked like it was one of those like next gen games. Like their engine was pushing so much at the time, and so when Tsushima came out, I was like, okay, this looks like nice. And obviously, art direction is amazing. It's artistically incredible. But I was expecting like an evolution of their engine, and they didn't do it in that game. And so I kind of was on the same train as you, where I was like, okay, PS5 only sequel to that, whatever that may be, they'll really push it forward here. But it's clear that they've gone, no, that costs too much money. Like we don't need necessarily to do that. And that's a choice, right? Like that's a choice. But it is disappointing, I guess, that they maybe haven't pushed their engine forward in the way some other studios have. Like if you look at, we'll use PlayStation Studios as an example, like Horizon Zero Dawn to Forbidden West, like massive upgrade in the Decima engine for that game. But they Sucker Punch haven't done that here. So, but you know, I remember thinking Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't look particularly visually amazing on the pre-release, and then it came out and that game's incredible to look at like that. Like and Yotei is not going to look anywhere near as good as that visually, but you know it may look better in person.
That's a good point. On a couple of things that you mentioned there that I completely neglected to remember even, I guess, is Assassin's Creed Shadows also got boycotted as well. Remember?
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Funny that. Yeah.
So much of that. Like I get it. I don't know. Maybe the medium's maturing. Maybe we're immature. I don't know what. But Ubisoft get a lot of flack, but their Assassin's Creed Shadows, everyone tells me just play it, just buy it on your 50. I think you were telling me like just play this game will looks amazing, and I think you were saying Avatar as well.
Oh yeah, Avatar. Yeah, I think Avatar's shit. Like I don't really enjoy it as a game, but like as a visual feast on PC, it's unbelievable. Shadows is actually a really good game. I really enjoy it. I've only got like 12 hours into Shadows, so I don't know how it is by the end. But on PC visually, it's probably the best looking game I've seen this year.
Wow.
Like on a high end system, like maybe that and like Doom the Dark Ages, you know, and that sort of stuff, like those two.
Did you try Doom the Dark Ages with the ray tracing thing update?
Yeah, so the path tracing.
Path tracing, sorry.
It is. It is, but it doesn't. What I would say, the ray tracing implementation on that game pre-path tracing was so good that path tracing does not add
that much
as much as you think as it would, right? Like I think it does add a bit, but the game looks so good just with ray trace GI and its reflections and all the stuff it's doing anyway that you don't need to add path tracing to make it look. And when they have, it doesn't look that much better than it did, although it does look better.
All right.
But yeah, Indiana Jones is a better example for path tracing on tech where that makes a huge difference to the look of that. It looks so good. So good.
Yeah. It won Digital Foundry's award for best looking game as well for precisely the PC version because of that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting you said about Assassin's Creed. It was funny you mentioned Infamous Second Son, which is one of the few games I actually platinumed, and I was I got death threats for giving it a 6 out of 10. I remember that. But I do remember the visual discussion, the textures, and the a tip of the powers, especially that you run through in the pink and purple.
First light.
First light. Oh my days, sick. It looks crazy. And then you're right. Then they did Ghost of Tsushima, and the art style carried it, but I remember the visuals for it. Particularly like the textures were or let it down. It
was the textures, yeah. The lighting is very good in that game, and like foliage is very good. But the thing that lets it down is the detail, like texture detail, that sort of stuff. That's the thing, and it looks like that's continued with Yotei.
Yeah,
we'll see when it's in person, but yeah, it looks like it from the videos.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I've saw a few bits of like really drab looking textures, and I'm like, you don't always have to be all and end all graphics, but because in the console war kind of like rhetoric, PlayStation's always had a higher station for a provable record where it's completely supplanted Xbox when it comes to visuals, and I feel like it's an interesting switch if it means anything. I mean, console wars are dead now, but just as a platform on a platform level where Microsoft has kind of this generation, and it's too soon to say that, but both Hellblade 2, which is a UE5 game, so it gets a little less flowers as a result of it not being a proprietary engine versus id Tech, which is a proprietary, but those two came top 2 for graphics. This year we're gonna get Death Stranding again. That's a third party, I guess, but it looks incredible. That comes as a visual heavyweight, but then you've got this first party studio, and it's not pulling its punches, but I think Intergalactic will blow people's minds. I think Wolverine should look really good based on what Insomniac have done with Spider-Man 2.
I mean, the leaked they were aiming from the leaked, and I've tried to stay away from it, but I specifically remember in their internal like presentations, funnily enough, they were aiming for character models to look like Hellblade 2. Like that was their aspiration for visuals. Yeah, so like they were like, that's what they wanted to do. And like I have no doubt that will look, whether a character models will look as good as Hellblade 2, I don't know, but visually I think that will look spectacular because it's Insomniac, and that's their engine's awesome.
They've done the benefit of the doubt. You've seen them what they've done with things like Ratchet. You've seen them with Spider-Man 2. Well, to a lesser degree, this is an open world game, so whether or not they can maintain the high level of fidelity to match something like Hellblade along with an open world is good.
I think it might be a bit more God of War-y Wolverine, like kind of wide linear. So I think they will have more, like a bit more Ratchet and Clank, right, where you have like,
I hope so.
You're not so wide that you have to sacrifice something in your engine.
I think you're right, because I've seen the leaks. Unlike you, I know someone who actually was playing around with them and showed me some of the footage. And you're right, it did look a little bit more wide linear than traversing through the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see. I think, well, we've got the actually interesting quote, poll results. And they've disappeared because I pressed end poll. What the hell? Where's it gone? I don't even know what the results were. Where's it gone?
Oh, I see it. I can see it.
I can't see it for some reason. I have to refresh the page.
44% of people think it'll get 85 to 89.
All right. Yeah, I think 44. The majority are correct. I think it will land there. 27% say it'll be less than that. It'll be interesting. I think that's also a safer bet. I think 90s are going to be rare, but prove me wrong. If it's in the 90s, I think this game definitely is going to be doing things that we were not expecting. Generally. So it'll be interesting to see. But chat's so messy. You guys make me laugh. Let me read the super chats very quickly. On a human level, Jeff Grubb celebrating it was vile, says Champagne Supernova. Yeah, I did see that. That kind of stuff. It seems tasteless. Absolutely. About Charlie Kirk getting killed. I just don't get. I mean, on that point, liberal. Like I'm like in the middle, like liberal in many ways, conservative. I don't know. You can't put me, I don't think, in a bracket. But I did find it weird. Did you find it a bit weird, like that celebratory stuff, or did you expect it, or you're not surprised? Like,
yeah, I wasn't surprised by it necessarily. I think when you have someone who's controversial, like you're always going to get people who go to like one extreme or another.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So
people will celebrate my death. You know that's going to happen. PlayStation death.
So yeah. So I mean, like that I think what probably surprised me more was the openness of people about it, particularly ones in jobs that, like, you know, I would never ever like put something out there like that, because I'm very conscious of my position and I wouldn't want you know to fuck that up, right? So and I get that people feel really strongly about that, and it's more an emotional response, I think, a lot of the time. But I think that element surprised me more than anything. But then actually thinking about, like, does any discourse on like X surprise you? Like anything? Like people are very like can be very like you know,
moronic,
extreme. Like with any position. So like it doesn't, you know, people are way more willing these days to put out, you know, very interesting views that they have on things.
Very diplomatically
in the public.
Interesting views. I mean, I like Jeff Grubb. I felt like that was a bit tasteless, but he may feel strongly about it. Let's be real, some people in this world that are thoroughly evil, if they passed away, would I pretend and say I wouldn't there be an element of being relieved or happy? War criminals, things like that are wanted by the ICC. You're telling me I should feel bad that they pass away or get killed? Sure. Charlie Kirk said things, atrocious things, that I would debate him. I wouldn't celebrate him getting shot. I don't know, on a human level, look, he said stuff about like Palestinian stuff. He was completely didn't care about their deaths. He denied it. He said that, you know, there's no starvation, this and that. And despite all of that, it felt wrong. This guy was okay. He's had his views, and he himself would downplay the deaths of many people, and he did that loads of times. But on a human level, seeing the way it felt, and knowing his kid was at the back, it just felt wrong, man. It just felt sick. I don't know. It was a bit sickening, and I just didn't feel good about it. I was like, and I felt like debate him on the arguments. The guy made a career of debating college kids. It wasn't exactly some savant. There's another element of revisionist history where they're making him out to be the second coming of Christ now, and he was like, they're saying that he was having an awakening, and Candace Owens keeps saying that he's about to wake up. I'm like, all right, okay, but you know, all of that, I'm just like, I don't know. There's so much hate in the world. There's so much shit going out. We're all human at the end of the day. I'm not trying to downplay anyone's position on it. People celebrate on it. Apart the dark humor of me did like some of the memes, because I've laughed at all sorts of things, everything, because it's my way of coping sometimes with the madness of the world. But at the same time, it's like Jeff Grubb, when he did that, I kind of understand his position, but I felt like it was a bit tasteless, a bit wrong. Like, do it so openly. It's like, I don't know, man. Liberals in America scare me, man. I don't know what it is. They remind me of the right, but they're just not right. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. People are so nice when I meet them in America. Then they go back and they're like, oh my God, these guys could freaking kill me for some divergent opinion. Like, Ghost of Yotei's graphics look like shit. I mean, Ghost of Yotei. I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. The world sucks.
It does.
It does. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know what I'm saying. But I'm just trying to, I don't know. I've got Emperor Sofa King with a $2 super chat. He says, Destiny 2 is not a bad game, in my opinion, just 10 years old. A lot of people did enjoy it. I immediately off the bat look, with Destiny 2, with Destiny 1, I looked at the magazine. I followed the excerpts of what Bungie were supposed to do with the game, the scope of it. It was going to be something grand, you know, ships there, navigate to space. And in my head, it was going to be massive. And Bungie explicitly marketed this game as a massive, groundbreaking MMO. And it was going to be what I've been dying for since World of Warcraft, to take it to another level. I was holding on to games like Huxley, if people remember that. That's old school tech demo.
Whoa. I remember that. That's such a blast. I remember looking at images of that in magazines.
Yeah, me
and being
too.
like, because that was the MMORPG. It was basically Destiny before Destiny, right?
Exactly.
But like bigger scale. Yeah, I remember looking at that and thinking, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Imagine, and I still haven't got that game, Luke. I still haven't got my Huxley.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, fucking finally, Bungie. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Bungie. They were saying all manner of things, all manner of promises in the ships, and the ships ended up being just a fucking glorified loading screen. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and it so bitterly disappointed me, man. Like, it's one of the most disappointing things I've come across in my gaming, where I've been so hyped about what I thought the game was going to do, and it didn't just do it. Cyberpunk came very close to that. Then Cyberpunk redeemed itself in many ways, and it's a brilliant game, and redeemed itself through just hard work. But it's still, in terms of scope, I've been telling chat will know this about this, working on a video where I talk about where gaming should be in the AAA space in terms of its ambition, and it's not there. And Destiny, to me, represents the failure of that and selling that promise. But yeah, sorry, God, Emperor Sofa King. I'm sure it's fine if you like Destiny 1, but it's just, for me, it'll always be an element of a failed product in terms of its ambitions, downscaled even more for a sequel. Shabs, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. No matter what people's politics are, they should not be killed for it. Debate it, hate them, but surely don't deserve death. Shabs, that's a great point. I think I don't know how you would argue against that, but then again, people can. I'm sure we have an argument where the politics can be dangerous because the views that you espouse could end up leading to the degradation or the deaths or anything of other people, because these are real life things. So there's a lot of nuance to it. But yeah, like, look, I know friends who are fighting through communities on these issues. Everyone's good. They're good people. But I don't know. Part of me wants to try and get people together. I know inherently both sets of people are really nice in many ways in our interactions. Just come together. But then again, I speak to myself like, Colin Moriarty, would I be able to be cordial with someone like that who was completely polar opposite and pro thingy Israel, like unapologetically so? He said that, and you know, that what does that represent? It represents co-signing the genocide, if you believe in that. It's so complicated. I just want people to get on, but life is like that. It's just unfortunately it's like that. And hopefully we can just keep it gaming, but it's like, that's a naive thing to say as well, Luke, because at the end of the day, man, like, this can't be.
It's every aspect of people's lives, and you know, some people just want to be angry about everything all the time. That's what I found. I think a lot of people are just fundamentally just miserable.
Yes.
And like they have, like, you know, and I feel genuine sympathy for those people, but I can't relate. So
I know.
like, yeah, like I'm just like, okay, I just wish that people would be almost more moderate in every position they take in their life, willing to compromise, willing to like chat about things, and willing to actually like adjust their views based on the views of the others as well. And I think that's the problem, is those people are few and far. They feel like they're few and far between.
Yeah.
They do exist, but they don't feel it.
Absolutely.
Like they're there.
Yeah. Especially Luke Steele is basically called Randy Pitchford a because that's the next topic.
I don't know. I mean, he has been with this particular thing.
Randy Pitchford is a twat, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what is wrong with him. What is wrong with him? He frustrates me so much. Like, you're so stuck up your own arse, man. Like, why?
It must be a nightmare for PR, right?
Oh my
like,
god!
If you're like Randy Pitchford's handler, you must be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what? Like, I can't. It just is impossible to like corral into normal positions. He's fucking mental.
Everyone and Randy Pitchford's team, they finally worked so hard. Borderlands 4 is about to be a great game, minus its technical issues. It's great fun. Everyone's really enjoying it. Colt's in the chat, Colt, and everyone party chat. Everyone I talk to is really enjoying that game. Randy Pitchford, the people who work in that studio must always be like, please just shut the fuck up, please, Randy. But he's the president of freaking Gearbox Studios. So what is he gonna do? So they can't really tell her, the boss, shut the fuck up. But he needs to shut the fuck up, man. That guy can't shut the fuck up. He is a habitual cocksucker. Sorry, he just that's a bit harsh. But if you followed Randy, this guy is the most stubborn, absolute. My life I've ever seen someone like that. This guy, when it came to freaking alien Colonial Marines, man. Alien Colonial Marines. I remember following that, being hyped about it. And
So hyped.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Remember?
Yeah. I was. Yeah, I mean that's the moment where Randy Pitchford, to me, I was just like, this fucking dude, man. Like, this guy. like, and since then it's been pretty much most of the same. But Colonial Marines was I'm such a huge Aliens fan, and it was such a colossal disappointment.
Bro, I remember Alien vs Predator. Do you remember playing that? Oh man, on PC with the 3 factions as well.
It was awesome.
Game.
Awesome, yeah.
Such a good game. And the promise of what he showed, and what the fucking game.
Yeah, it was that demo, right? It was that demo where like it looked awesome, and it looked like everything people wanted from like basically a video game version of Aliens, the sequel.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't that. It's just bag of shit, complete bag of shit. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and find the original trailer. Bro, oh man.
Don't bring it up, man, because it's so it hurts me so much watching it, like watching what it could have been. And then like you see, I remember watching the comparisons when people like way back in the day when they would do like, and you see it all the time now where people take like the demo version and then they'll go into the same place in the final version and they'll play through, and like it's become less and less like the difference is like has been lessened with most games now. But that one, I remember looking at it being like, what the fuck have they done here? like what has happened to this game?
Bro, that was so bad, man. I remember that moment where the whole gaming world descended upon him, and instead of just taking it in his stride, he just ended up blaming everyone. He was such a cock about it. You're such a cock. Look at the comparison.
It's proper PTSD, this. I can't believe you brought this one.
Oh man. Jesus Christ. He's such a shit. Like, what did he say? So he basically said with Borderlands 4, he said, look, because PC gamers are like, even on my freaking PC, the game is not running that well. And he basically said, look, every PC's like, basically saying your PC's shit. Like, it's not us, it's you. And then Digital Foundry do a technical analysis of it, and the freaking game, the longer you play it, for whatever reason, it just leaks some memory leak or whatever, and then the game tanks. So what? The console's also weak, and he just shut his mouth now. And then he got things wrong in his own game. He was talking to what's his name, Paul. There's a journalist.
Paul Tassi. Yeah, that was my favorite interaction. So Paul Tassi highlighted an interaction he had, and this sums it up, where someone was like, they were running a 5080, right? So the third most powerful card out there essentially at the moment, and They were on a 5080 and a 7900X 3D, right, for their processor, like lots of RAM. And he was like, okay, first of all, you should run that on a 1440p monitor, right? You should put it to, I think he said, put it DLSS on. This isn't too controversial so far, apart from maybe the 1440p bit. And he was like, put frame gen on ×4. And I was like, if you're recommending that someone with a 5080, right, should put frame gen on 4x, and I really like frame. I know some people don't. I like frame gen. I don't like frame gen ×4 because it tends to look garbled and shit, and it feels horrible. Yeah, but I was just like, okay, this dude he's having a laugh like at this point. Like, this can't be real.
And then he told Paul Tassi to turn off an option that didn't even exist in the game.
Yeah, it was like the fog, wasn't it? He was like, you need to turn it off, and it just goes down to low. Like, it isn't.
What a fucking moron, man! This guy, holy shit!
It's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. Just, why couldn't he just come out and this is like, again, and I have this problem where I can't put myself. It's really hard for me to put myself in the head of someone and like think of what they're thinking. But why don't you just come out and just say, guys, we appreciate performance isn't where it's supposed to be right now, or for some players it isn't where it is. We're working on improving it. We'll patch it soon. And then there's no controversy because, I mean, maybe on the console versions where there's that degradation issue, right? That's a real problem and that's weird.
Yeah.
But people would be like, okay, you kind of like takes a piss that it's launched in like a crap state, but we'll wait for the patch. But because he's then like, no, you just need to accept that, you know, like PC, it's like you might not have a good enough PC. And then he's saying to this bloke with a 5080, like, oh, well, put on frame gen ×4 and it'll be great. Run it at 1440p, like have an internal resolution of like 900p, something like that. It's just like, what are you doing?
He's such an idiot, man. He's such a cock. I would say to his face, I'm like, Randy, why are you such a cock? Well, I did call, what's his name? What's that guy from, the little guy from Game of Thrones? Peter Dinklage.
Oh, Dinklage.
I called him a to his face. So I'm sure I could call Randy Pitchford a twat to his face. I'm like, why do you have to be a dick? Like, do you not understand you're looking like a dick? Is that they said code the game for yourself if you want to do it? I'm like, oh, yeah. What good is going to come out of you saying that? Why is it so hard for you to admit you faltered here? Why are you the one talking? Just shut up, get someone else to do it, because you know you're terrible at it. But he's so stubborn. He's so stubborn, and he does. Part of me, and I'm annoyed that Borderlands 4 is a success because he's the president of it. Not all the hard work that the team had put into it, and he just goes out and just sullies it with his statements, and he's the representative of that title. I will play Borderlands 4, but it'll be Randy's face.
I think as well, like, it wouldn't be so, like, I mean, he'd still look like a dick if he was saying all this, but if Borderlands 4, you looked at it and you're like, well, that's really pushing, you know, visuals. Like, it looks like Black Myth Wukong, but first person, and Borderlands art. You'd be like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe, like, if we're really, like, you're really pushing visuals forward, maybe there will be some performance problems, right? Because people will try and go beyond what the hardware is capable of. That does happen. It doesn't look like that, though. Like, it's not as if you look at the game and you're like, wow, it looks fairly nice visually. Like,
but the old game's a bit up to date a little bit. Yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, it looks like kind of a more detail. You know, obviously it's using UE5, right? It's using Lumen, Nanite. We all know it's a very demanding engine. The optimization still isn't there on a lot of games that use it. So that's a kind of separate issue all of its own, I think. But yeah, it's just, I think it's so offensive to say to people, you've got like high end. He was saying like, you know, a lot of you are dead set of playing in 4K with like max settings with hardware that's like 2 or 3 years old. 2 or 3 year old hardware could be like a 4080 or a 4090. What do you mean? Like, of course, people are going to try and like, they should be able to play a game that looks like that at max settings at 4K. Maybe not native, but you know, we know native 4K is gone away now. But like, you know, it's just ridiculous.
It's so out of touch. It's so out of touch. Like, I don't understand how you can fail upwards like that all the time. I just don't get it. I don't get this guy. Shout out Infinite. Yeah, I just don't get it. It's crazy. Champagne Supernova goes, every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they're running is doing. That's the quote right there from Champagne. Thank you for that. Come on, man. Accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they're running is doing. Shut your mouth, bro. If I do that on my 5090, it's not going to run it at 60. That's the best. Like, me and you have the best pretty much you can get on the market. Like, what is he going to say? How do you say? I'm so tempted to just push out there. Hey, Randy, should I accept the reality of what? And your game, like you say, doesn't even look like it's pushing the needle like massively. That's the thing. Yeah. Look, I'm looking at the software. Yeah, what? UE5, you have not optimized this game well. I'm sorry. It's so frustrating to listen to this man. But at the same time, I'm glad everyone else can see it. It's one of those that would drive me up the wall if people didn't go after him. I can rest. I can join in with everyone else just in unison taking the piss out of this guy, because I hardly see anyone defending them. And if anyone is defending that guy, they need to get their head checked. I'm pretty sure Reforged Gaming was defending him, but then we all know he definitely needs to get his head checked. So that was Borderlands 4. I do need to try it. I'm going to party up with Colt and Co to play that game. The game looks like a lot of fun. It's one of those where I feel like you can just shut your brain off and chill in a party chat, isn't it? And just look for that purple
shoot
gear.
Things.
Yeah,
look for But it's got the dopamine hit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Rambo movie. Just turn your brain off and play. Now, in another bout of Xbox absolutely shitting the bed again. It's just like a feature of Xbox price hike out of nowhere yesterday. It's like I don't think they want to sell Xbox consoles anymore, Luke. I think they found their primary audience, man, which is PlayStation. PlayStation will buy their games. They're paying full price for them, and they're buying them in spades, man. And Microsoft's like, the console user base has always been treated like third class anyway, in favor of PC and now PlayStation. But they have increased the price of these Series X and X consoles that are not exactly selling gangbusters. In fact, they're dwindling behind the horrendous Xbox One console. They've had a price hike 4 months ago on the basis of the tariffs, and they've done it again. I think the Series X is now $800. $800 for that console that is 4 or 5 years old. What is going on, man? No one is gonna, you're gonna start seeing sales figures in singular digits now, because who's buying this shit? Already they had an uphill task, but with selling the console and their marketing. You don't need an Xbox. Now we understand why. They just don't want to sell it to you. They've been selling it at a massive loss for ages. I think something eye-watering like $100 per unit, which is astonishing. Anyway, but so what? A lot of people are like, the Trump tariffs are to blame. I'm like, okay, fine, to a certain degree. Yeah, they're real. They exist. But at the same time, Microsoft has full control over its cost. Are you for the player? Are you pro-consumer? You already did a price hike. How do you justify that? Do you have any interest in selling this thing? And what the hell is going to be the price of the next-gen console, let alone the handheld? We are in for a rude awakening, which is why I say to everyone, get a bloody PC, for God's sake, if you want value proposition. Holy shit, you guys are going to get absolutely molested by Microsoft constantly. And not just Microsoft, everyone, because it's just not there. These consoles are basically gimped PCs. What is going on? You tell me, Luke. This is just stupid. Where does this leave Xbox at the console and the Series consoles in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think for a long time now they haven't been interested in selling consoles, because their business has, diverged really from just looking at the console. And again, I don't think necessarily that's a bad thing, but they're clearly not willing to absorb much at any cost in terms of getting users in, because the way that they attract users now is not defined by console metrics.
Absolutely.
It's defined by every every other way, right? I mean, console is a part of it, but I think they look at that as kind of, right, this is like it's not the fundamental core of our business anymore. It's a part of it over here, but there's like 4 or 5 different bits that are actually all about user attraction. So like the next gen is going to be super interesting in terms of what SKUs they build and what prices they go for, because I think you're going to get, you know, they're going to be expensive, right?
Oh,
like they're
yeah.
going to be for a console, for a traditional console. So yeah, I think this is them going, and look, like the tariff situation for sure is probably the primary impact on their manufacture of consoles and getting them into the US and all of that sort of stuff. So I get it. I mean, I don't, you know, doesn't justify it when they've got so much money, but I get it from a business perspective, right? Why they would raise prices again. But it does alienate a lot of people from buying the console. Now, as you say, Microsoft probably not that bothered about that anymore, and they certainly won't be in the next gen. They just want hardware to be an option for people, which is cool in a way. But yeah, it's obviously it just kneecaps any sales or any chance of the Series console selling more. But I think they accepted that probably a year or two ago. Yeah, like I think they accepted that. Look, we're not. It's not a lucrative basis on which to base our business anymore for us, because it's not successful. Like it's not hugely successful for them, and I think they found success in other ways.
Absolutely.
Mainly their software, right? So like, as you say, like doing extremely well on the PlayStation Store, you know, the top publisher there, really. They'll do well on Nintendo when they start announcing Switch 2 stuff, or more Switch 2. Indiana Jones coming to Switch 2.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Very interesting, actually.
You know, they've got their sub-service, which is doing well too. You know, like they've got these different avenues, and that's not me trying to justify them raising the price, because I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to buy an Xbox console, but
yeah,
you know, yeah, the next gen stuff is going to be super interesting. Their prices and the Ally that's coming up, that's going to be an interesting price.
Eye-watering price. I think handhelds you tend to on the PC side, they tend to be quite expensive anyway. I think that'll be less shocking, but the next console. Yeah. But I do think they'll be able to style it out. I joked about this on Twitter, saying that, you know, they're going to have so many price hikes that at that point, even if it's $1,000, they'll be like, oh, it's only 200 quid more than the Xbox Series X, because that's at $800. But if they are, again, the rumors suggesting the specs of the thing, PlayStation are apparently going for a more consumer-friendly one. They've got a handheld device that they're launching in unison with the PlayStation, according to Moore's Law, is dead. And the Xbox console hybrid, because we know it's a hybrid, basically, running Steam and stuff. If they justify or market it as a hybrid console or an entryway into PC gaming, then only then I reckon they could style it out successfully. Well, it's only $1,000. 1,200.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they might do well there in a sense of being like, you know, to people who maybe want to go into PC gaming, but they find it cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Going, well, this is actually an entry route into that, but it's more unified in terms of its UI, and it's, you know, you can go across different storefronts and stuff, and it will only cost you $900, $1,000 or whatever, right? For a higher spec model or whatever it may be.
Absolutely.
That might be a successful, like that might attract, like, I don't think that user base is like, that potential audience is super massive, but I think it's like, it's certainly an in with some people, right? That you could go, well, you know, you want to get into PC gaming, here's an all-in-one, you know, it kind of functions in the same way as a console, but it has the flexibility of a PC in some respects. So have at it, you know.
That is the only way I reckon they can justify it and have or have an interesting conversation that's not one-sided, where, you know, the customer's completely vilifying you for this eye-watering price, because Microsoft is the only one that can actually straddle this line now, where they're saying that they're doing this hybrid device. I made a video on this a while ago where I talked about the potential of a hybrid console if executed well, and that's a massive if, bold, underlined, asterisk, all of it. If executed well and tried to pitch it effectively in markets like in Asia, Middle East, Europe, a lot of Europe as well, Far East Asia, where Xbox has traditionally struggled, but where there are very, very strong PC markets like China as well. If you can somehow deliver a product that's compelling and deliver, and these are massive and ifs, something that can mix the ease of use of console along with the fluidity, if you want the freedom of a PC kind of thing, then they could really smash it out the park. The pricing, however, remains a big point of contention. I think I think it's almost a given at this point. It's going to be, you're looking at $1,000, you're looking at about 4 figures for the console, next gen console, but we'll see how it turns out. Again, for me personally, if I'm on PC, do I really need the next Xbox? Unless they really smash it out of the park and have this hybrid device, I might up. But to be honest, I'm really more interested in Valve and their Fremont, codename Fremont console. That would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, like I had a Series X, but I went mostly to. There's no, if you've been into PC gaming, I don't think there's necessarily a reason to have an Xbox console. I don't mean that as a negative. I just think that,
yeah, absolutely agree.
If you've got a PC, like you've got access to all of that stuff. Maybe not all of the feature set of an Xbox console in terms of like quick resume and that, but like everything else you have, and you can ramp up stuff. So for me, like the only thing I was like genuinely really interested in, which doesn't, at least not coming anytime soon, was their own handheld, like their own in-house built handheld. I would have been very interested in that as a product, but that doesn't seem to be happening now. So
yeah, no, I don't think. Part of me thinks it's maybe a good thing. I am probably more interested in PlayStation doing the hardware. They're a much better hardware company than Xbox. I feel like they, with the Vita and the PSP, they did smash it out. It just didn't have software support for the Vita, or which one was it? PSP, one of them.
PSP,
yeah. And I think next gen with PlayStation, this is going to sound controversial, but I just feel like the way the landscape is going, the next gen is going to be the last hurrah as far as consoles are concerned. And I'm not saying there's going to be no consoles after the next gen. What I'm trying to say is Sony recognize that that's the gen to finally squeeze out the hardware pie as much as possible, where they will really push for the PS6 handheld as well in unison, and make a lot of money on that hardware, because where things are going with cloud, with GeForce Now, with the platform agnostic nature of things, where games are on PC as well, and you can see the timeline between releases on PC getting shorter and shorter, and just with Helldivers 2 is also an indication of Sony's appetite to be a lot more broader than the confines of walled garden console hardware. It's just the way it's going. The PS6 is where you go all in, push and squeeze out as much as you can, get those numbers in high, and then during that generation, I see PlayStation then just letting loose on game availability, embracing things like cloud and PC gaming a lot more freely, without these kind of gaps that they maintain purely for the balancing act of not taking away the value proposition of their hardware, which is traditionally what their business has been built on, because their business has to evolve. Whereas with Xbox, they phoned it in when it comes to their hardware, because let's be honest, they're making more money on PlayStation than they are on Xbox, minus their obviously sub-services. They're obviously, that Game Pass, I think is massively successful, and now that PlayStation is there, it eases the pressure on things like Game Pass. It works really well now for Microsoft as this revenue generating sub-service, whereas it's also envious for PlayStation. I don't think a lot of people, there's a lot of conversation about the sustainability of Game Pass and all of this and that, but the reality to me is that PlayStation will be looking at Xbox enviously because of the capital that Microsoft has to be able to sustain that and make a lot of money on PlayStation, which Sony will be keeping a keen eye on to understand where they stand in the next gen of of gaming. It remains to be seen. But generally, it's just shit. And the console gamers get absolutely hot molten diarrhea shat all over them. And I can just laugh at it because it's just taking the piss. And console gamers, Xbox console guys, I know this is a bitter pill for you to swallow, but you are not even second-class citizens on Xbox. You are third-class. You're fully after PlayStation, man. Every time. How insulting is it for console owners that whenever there's an upgrade for a game or an update, it coincides with the PlayStation release? That is a slap in the face of console gamers, man. I'm not saying the Xbox Series X is a shit console. I love Quick Resume, but I haven't booted this up in over a year. I have no really intent to, unless I can complete Lost Odyssey and things like that. Otherwise, the game has changed. Get a PC if you want the apex, the peak of gaming experiences. PS5 Pros and Xbox. But yeah. So yeah, there's that. What else? Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I've gone over the 2 hour mark. You available for?
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I won't take too much of your time. I just want to talk a little bit actually, is it positive? Well, kind of. Battlefield's I can't wait for Battlefield 6. And while I was away, there were some really, one of the things I was whinging about was a bit about, I love the jets, and I love the fact that the old Battlefields you'd take off from a runway. There's a gameplay ramification of that, but also immersion. But that's come back, and some of the maps do have you launching from a runway and things like that. But I don't know why Champagne why I didn't get this insider access, but some insiders got access to the new map in the game, and they showed a lot more of the gadgets in the game, things like mortar strikes, things like the ladders that you can go in, things like the hammer that with a couple of knocks can tear down the entire floors of the building, which is interesting. But the game looks really, really good. So a lot of concerns about the size of the maps and the vehicle in the game and how big the maps are. The new map, I forgot the name of it, but they've showed it off, looks really good, and looks great. One of the things that they nerfed that really pissed some people off, and the discourse has been this week, has been the movement. So with Battlefield 6, the movement has been really good. It's speedy. Like for Call of Duty fans, it's been really good. It forsaked a little bit of the weight that you'd get from, I say a lot of the weight that you would associate with Battlefield games. And as a result of tweaking and feedback from the beta, or whatever you call it, alpha, or whatever it was, DICE have really tweaked that quite a lot. So there's a lot of weapon sway, there's a lot more movement there. You're not moving as fast as you did. Now, that may alienate a lot of the COD crowd that actually gravitated very strongly towards Battlefield's open or closed or an open alpha thing, because the numbers were amazing on Steam. They're like huge, sustained numbers the second week of the alpha. Big numbers again, were even killing Call of Duty at that point. And so it's going to be a big balancing act to follow. But I like my Battlefield because I like something that's based on team play, playing as a unit. This is not Call of Duty. It's not Apex Legends where you have to go to run around. You know, the fast moving thing where people are twitching around like they got freaking Adderall like injected into their veins and they're just smashing through like us old lot. We need a little bit of something to just slow down. It's not always about you. It's about the team. It's about the units. It's about the vehicles. It's about the intel. It's about the spotting. That's what this whole thing is about. But I do question DICE's priorities as well, because they will want to see the numbers go up, and you have to cater for the COD crowd to a certain degree, which is the reason why the game played like it did in the alpha. And one of the other things I was going to say, Luke, skins, and I'm going on, but the skins element of it, a lot of people started, it's come to the cyclical thing with Call of Duty. It takes the piss, gets really ridiculous, skins get dumb, the game just get over the top, jetpack, blah blah blah, and then Call of Duty, whichever team, whether Infinity War, whatever, they come back and say we're going to go back and we'll be grounded, and they go back and they hard reset, and the cycle continues again. And this is where they're in the ridiculous level of the cycle, whereas fans are now really wanting the more grounded approach, and this is why Battlefield is coming at the right time. And they've said the skins are not going to be overly absolutely piss-taking unicorns shitting out rainbows and Beavis and Butthead and all sorts freaking Nicki Minaj and all this fucking weird shit in what was Call of Duty. Used to be like a, you know, kind of gritty military shooter. But even that, we started to see some leaks of some skins from Battlefield already looking a little bit flamboyant, and you're like, oh shit, you're already turning the, what the hell, who wears lime green goggles and lime green shit here and there? It's already happening. So it's going to be a balancing act. But generally, I'm very excited about Battlefield, even though that's actually a quite conservative upgrade from Battlefield 3 and 4 as well. But this is the state of the... I don't know what to say to you on this point. I've just been blabbering on, talking shit. So, I don't know. But look...
What are my views on Battlefield 6?
There you go. After all that shit, what's your view?
Yeah, no, I'd say I'm a lapsed Battlefield fan. I really like the older Battlefields, and I really liked Battlefield 3, and then I just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And I played the beta for this one, and I generally really enjoyed it. I did find it, maybe it's just because I'm older and like much shitter at these games. I found it sweatier than I remembered the older Battlefields being, but certainly nothing like Call of Duty, right? Which is, as you say, it's like it's just way too individual, that game. It's just, there's no real team play. It's just who is the sweatiest, who can, you know, crouch jump and go all over and, you know, aim the most ridiculous aim possible. So I really like the Battlefield is more team orientated, and I think they're going in the right direction with this one. Even if you say it, and I agree with you completely, it's quite conservative, this one. Like, I know it's kind of just going back to what people really loved about Battlefield and presenting like a viable alternative to like Call of Duty, basically, for people who really like teamwork and large scale battles and like kind of realism, quote unquote. You know, it's kind of that. But I do agree. I think they've got this weird balancing act where, like, weren't EA aiming for like 100 million users for this? So it's not a game for everyone. Some people really will fall off it when they realize they can't just, like, you know, shoot their way normally, like, you know, can't just get individually great at it and be successful in the game. And as you say, with the skins, like, they're on that cusp of like, I don't think they're going to come up, you know, I don't think there's going to be like a Roger from American Dad skin in this game or anything ridiculous like that. But I do think if they want people to buy cosmetics, they need to be eye-catching. Exactly. And the more eye-catching you make cosmetics, the more unrealistic they become.
Yep.
So they've got this weird, but like, because otherwise they won't sell them, because people will be like, well, it looks...
I'm not like,
it's camo. Yeah, I'm not getting like bang for my buck in terms of being very distinctive, right? And that's the whole point of cosmetics. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see. Not necessarily on launch, because I think it will do very well, but over time, what will they do? How will they tweak it? How will they change it? But I really enjoyed the bits that I played. Like, runs amazing. Like, Frostbite's such a good engine. Like, runs incredibly well. Sound design is just
amazing,
unreal. And
the destruction.
I like the look of destruction. Yeah. Like the look of the new maps. And like you, I'm glad that they have these ones now where you're not jet in progress, right? You can like get in a jet and then go. Like, it just makes it feel like better, more realistic, more you kind of involved. Yeah, more immersive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because another thing for like a jet whore like me, I don't want someone just spamming mouse click and space and getting in. Whereas if I'm a serious jet person, I feel like someone could just do it knowing that the jet's about to spawn. Whereas with this one, if you're serious, you're gonna wait there at the hangar. And if I know someone's standing there waiting, then they're not gonna just use it as they might use it as a taxi, because that was what they did in Battlefield 3 and 4. But they'll be more inclined to do that if it's just a menu thing. Then it's just taking away from the menu, making it into the game is obviously a lot more immersive. So yeah, Battlefield 6, I feel like in the cosmetics front of it, ultimately you will definitely see some controversy about the outlandish nature of the thing, because it takes away from the spirit of the game, or that what they've promised to do. And over time, I can see that happening, because how do you sell that? And you know, with things like cosmetics, it's always about like that peacock syndrome. You know, you really want to see. I want everyone to see what I've got. And that, you know, how do you do that it's not a military sim, but you know, trying to be a little bit more realistic. I saw a little bit of that it's not Levolution as such, like Shanghai in Battlefield 4, but I did see in the new map, like you shoot some bits of a crane, the crane just cuts through a building, and that was really cool. So it's more fluid, kind of more realistic, not realistic, but it's more fluid damage that's linked to the game's more dynamic nature as well. I think Battlefield 6 is going to be really good. I can't wait to play that game. I'm actually also very excited for Ark Raiders. I think that is a game that I haven't even played it, but I think this could really grab me. I think that game is going to really grab me. Interestingly, with Battlefield 6, there's a lot of thing about the Series S being a potato, right? So the developers came out and said that because of the limitations with the Series S, they had to invest more time in it. But because they did optimize it better for the PlayStation, for the Series S, that actually benefited all the platforms as a result. So there you go. The Series S is actually helping out all platforms by being an absolute ball ache and a headache to code for. But ultimately, all boats get lifted in the Series S tide, or Series S induced tide, which is really good. Good to see. In that sense. But yeah, I don't know what else happened this week in the gaming news. I'm looking at my topics. Other than Battlefield 6 is better and more stable thanks in development of the Series S, according to Windows Central. This week we saw Hideki Kamiya come back on Scalebound, which is always going to be a shit game even if it did get made, but for some reason Scalebound just doesn't die in the mouths of people's names. I don't know why. This is why I hate the whole Perfect Dark being cancelled. I despise since that happened. I really had a bit of taste for Xbox. I'm mad about Perfect Dark, because now we'll spend the rest of our years talking about is it coming back. But Hideki Kamiya said that Scalebound might have gone differently if it was backed by a Japanese publisher instead of Microsoft. But he made it clear that, look, the failure was my own. I always said that this guy used that money from Microsoft. Obviously, Microsoft didn't even know. They were lackadaisical about oversight. You know, they could barely manage that anyway. But he said, here's Kamiya. Hideki Kamiya says Scalebound might have run differently if it was backed by a Japanese publisher instead of a Western publisher. But ultimately, the failure was the responsibility of Platinum Games and himself as the director. He says, and I quote, but not in Japanese, but with Scalebound, this is information already out there, so I can say it. What we were trying to build was a system where the player controlled both a human protagonist and a dragon together in an adventure, but there was no clear reference or format for us to follow for a game like that. And I think that's why it was easy for some of us to have doubts. For me personally, overseas publishers seem to have a much stronger desire to see a finished product as quickly as possible. If it had been a Japanese publisher, I feel they may have given us some more leeway, suggesting that Microsoft were a little bit more insistent on them hitting certain milestones and actually completing the game, which is... I would have thought it was the other way around. I thought the Japanese would be like, "Nani kore, just get that game done. What's going on?" But yeah, he says what it is. Kamiya felt like a bit of a charlatan. But Scalebound's going to be shit anyway. Let's be honest.
I was devastated when it was cancelled because I just thought it looked so. I didn't think it looked like it was doing particularly well in development, but I thought conceptually it looked really cool. And you know, having Kamiya like direct it, I just thought that was really interesting. But clearly, I mean, I think there's probably this failure attributable to every party involved in that. Microsoft, Kamiya as well, as he says, and he's taking responsibility for it, and the studio. It was a very ambitious game for a studio that hadn't really made those types of games before, like open world games, and you could see that they were struggling with it. And so it's for the best, I think, ultimately it was cancelled, even if I'm disappointed that the idea never came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, initially, okay, apart from the protagonist being already pretty generic, I like the whole, you know, powers and fusing with the dragons and stuff. Yeah. It just looked like but I'm a sucker for dragons, so it was disappointing. It just never came I remember the demo ran at like 3 frames. It looked
it was awful. Yeah, it was like chugging. It was and then they did this. I think it might be the last demo they did before it was cancelled. It was like this boss fight in this one area, and it was like
co-op thing.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and that it was struggling then, and I was kind of like, this doesn't look like it's going well at all. And sure enough, they cancelled it. So
yeah, I remember the co-op being different hair color of the protagonist.
Yeah, it was the same protagonist, but you had different colors. Like your dragon was different color and your hair was. Yeah.
I was like, this is definitely a Microsoft mandate to put multiplayer in.
Yeah, they were like, fucking get some multiplayer in there. We need. and Platinum were like, what? Like it's already difficult. You're making this even harder.
Exactly, and you can tell that's where I blame Microsoft, because like, well, it would be really good to have multiplayer in this game. We'll give you more money. You're like, all right, okay. And then you use the money somewhere else, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, the game failed. So that was Scalebound. But yeah, look, it is what it is. Stop asking for Scalebound. It sucks. It was going to be shit anyway. Yeah, just hashtag deal with it. What are you talking about, AJH? You're saying the best extraction shooter I've ever played. Are you talking about Arc Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh man, the Arc Raiders is I've seen like just instances of like combat and like things like I really love in PvP, like the open comms, like with different players. Like some guy was talking in a tunnel and the voice reverberated. It was an enemy team, and the guy just saved him up, and he was like, "What?" And you could just hear those like sound reverberating. And then there's some clips of some weird thing just jumping up, very fluid. I don't know what to expect. But yeah,
every impression I've heard of it has been positive. Like I've heard literally no negative impression of it. I really wanted to play the alpha or beta, whatever it was. They had a few months ago, but I didn't get into it. But I watched quite a lot of stream on it, and I was like, yeah, this could be like, I think this is the big extraction shooter game that people have been waiting, you know, that kind of one that takes the genre and really elevates it up, and you know, it just looks awesome. Although I'm kind of disappointed. I remember when it was first announced. Do you remember the first announcement? It was supposed to be a PvE game. Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but when they announced it originally, it was like a straight PvE game.
Yeah.
And that looked really, really cool. And then the same dev obviously did the finals, and it went dark. And then when they revealed it, it became PvE, like an extraction shooter, which is absolutely fine. But I also like the vision they had previously, where it was kind of like more of a, not a Destiny thing, but like more of that kind of experience, right? And this is like a extraction shooter, so it's more hardcore. But I think what they've done with it looks super cool, so I'm looking forward to playing it.
For me personally, I'm a lot more interested because it's PvE. I'm more of a PvP fan.
Yeah.
I like that you can do a PvE instance, and then you can have some players drop in on you. That's what cool. I loved about, you know, like even like with the appeal for me with the Division, again, another idea sold, but then they implemented the dark zones in a very kind of specific way, and that kind of put me off. I've always been a world PvP kind of guy, so like World of Warcraft. Playing, I just wholly just wanted to get my gear up to do world PvP, just absolutely terrorize low level alliance players to make a difference, kill their quest givers, that kind of shit. So for me, Arc Raiders hopefully scratch that itch, play with my mates, but also that PvP element of it is kind of really good, because obviously it's that ultimate chess game where you're fighting against actual human adversaries. So I'm really excited about that. How I'm going to fit all of that in a short space of time, I have no fucking clue, man. It's
so difficult, man. It's like Silent Hill F's coming in like a week as well, and I'm just like it's so much stuff going out.
At this point, work has been killing me, and I've been traveling and all of this stuff. This year has been an abysmal year for me in terms of free time, and then content creation as well, which obviously I've been back after 4 weeks. I feel massively guilty about as well, making videos and all of that. But there's some really good games that I really want to try out. And time. It's just like, just have the time. But it's a good problem to have generally. Despite my disillusionment with the AAA space, there are some really good AAA games coming out. And I'm just disillusioned with the ambition generally, but at the same time, We are getting good games. But yeah,
maybe a few more revealed next week as well. Tokyo Game Show.
Oh yeah, Tokyo Game Show. I completely forgot about that. What are we expecting at Tokyo Game Show? I don't think we're going to get much.
No, I mean, the big one from an Xbox perspective is Horizon 6, right? That's been the prevailing.
Oh
rumor.
shit! Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it's set in Japan by all accounts. So I really cannot wait to see that. Playground, an incredible developer, and I just like the idea of that tech with, you know, environments inspired by Japan is just going to be mind blowing. I think it's going to be incredible. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Forza, the thing with Forza Horizon 6, I can't wait for Forza Horizon 6 or Forza Horizon in Japan, I'm going to say, which apparently that's what it's going to be. Hence the TGS. There are some like rumors about that. That's where it's going to be revealed. Bro, the only thing I'm worried about, like, and I saw it with the last Forza Horizon, which is a great game, but it just cannot be a biome change. It has to be a lot more. Yeah. Well, it has to be more purposeful in its design to tap into things like, one, Forza Horizon started off with talking about or leaning into the car culture vibe. If you remember Forza Horizon 1, still remember playing that demo. Was it Nero playing? I don't know what it was. That song playing, the festival going through. I was into cars as well, modifying cars back then, and I used to do car convoys and stuff, ultimate dubs and all that shit, and I loved it. They got it. They understood it when the car culture was at its peak. That's what birthed Forza Horizon genius. With Forza Horizon 6 or Forza Horizon Japan, they really need to. There's so much you can do. Not just chuck in some drift racing like you did and slap on some. This is gonna sound stupid, but I feel like they should do this. Forza, they could work a story mode into Forza Horizon.
Yeah,
I reckon they could really do that.
I'm really hoping, because it's set in Japan, like they're clearly going to have some inspiration from all pieces of Japanese media and car culture, right?
Yeah.
I really hope for the story mode that they have, like, you know, like Initial D, the anime.
Thank
you. They lean into like the story element of that, and they make like this like more interesting story mode basically, and that's quite difficult to do, I get, because it's like going to be an open world and like they have all their activities and stuff. But I think they could do, if they did something like that, it would just be pitch perfect for like evolving, not just evolving Horizon, but tying it more in with the culture around which the setting is based, you know, specifically. So yeah, absolutely,
man. They could, I mean, look, story based, even if it's open world, you could have like factions, you know, with Initial D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They had different, like, villain of the week stuff. Like, you had like different factions, like all that kind of car cult. Like, you could really lean into that. So that's why, as you say, if it's just like how Horizon 5 did the story mode, it wouldn't be taking advantage of all the kind of culture that comes around having some car thing set in Japan.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And I also found out, I did a review of the last game, and one of the things I said was the dialogue and all that is really cheese. Like, no one talks like this. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, this looks nice. I was like, oh, this is just so very, very basic Disney-esque kind of like narratives, and very Marvel-esque kind of, oh yeah, you know, the little jokes that just don't really go far. They're really cheesy. They kind of run by, very vanilla. Whereas if you had a story like Initial D, I loved the anime. Even the UK, even the movie adaptation, there's only one. Didn't touch the anime, but there's I don't know if you've watched it, the movie adaptation. Yeah. But did you watch the movie adaptation with the UK soundtrack?
No, I didn't know. I didn't even know that they did that.
It's very rare, yeah. And in fact, on this channel, on Septic Source, the first video or first two videos are literally me uploading the music from a couple of the UK, I think by Fuel. Very rare to find that Initial D, but it transformed the movie's vibe completely, because the other mainstream one had all this rap and shit, and it was just it was Korean, Japanese rap. It just didn't work. Whereas with the UK's Fuel soundtrack, it just made it completely different. That's when I realized how important music is to a movie. Could be the exact same movie, you have different tracks, transformed it immediately. there's also so much beyond just the drift racing. There's also an anime series called Wangan Midnight, and that is a very dark, almost kind of, but really cool anime. I'd recommend it, about the obsession with car culture. That one is more about high speed, like literally, like the highways in Japan, they have a lot of street races there, and it's true, if you hit a certain speed, police won't chase you. And I used to follow this I used to follow the street racing scene in Japan quite a lot, and there was what's his name, the guy at Top Secret, I forgot his name. I'm gonna not kill myself. Sorry, that's not so deep.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning. No, just gonna demonetize. What's his name? Something. Tommy. Someone from Top Secret. You guys know who it is. If you guys, someone in car culture, some cultured swine in the chat, you know who I'm talking about. The guy, Tommy. Yeah, he came to me. He just came to me. The guy took a Skyline and went. He got arrested in the UK for driving his Supra at over 200 miles an hour on the M4 or something. It's not Val Kilmer, teacher. What the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, he got arrested in the UK, got deported to Japan, and then he did insane, and I mean insane speeds in Japan. Top Secret, so I thought it was that. No, not that. Okay. TJ, but yeah, there's so much in there. What I'm trying to say is in Japanese car culture that they could really hit the vibes in, and I hope they do. If they don't, I will be disappointed, and I feel like, okay, you're taking the easy way out, which I suspect they will. But if they don't, then don't do Japan next. Do it until you can do it right. That's my view on it. Just go somewhere else. Go to Germany or Mexico or something. Whatever, you've been to Mexico, but just go somewhere else. I'm hoping, I'm
optimistic that they have nailed it, because this is like the environment people have been asking for many years. Yeah. And I feel like they would only go for it if they felt they could really do that setting justice. One thing is for sure, it'll look amazing.
Oh yeah.
Irrespective of anything else, it will look incredible.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It will. It's just gonna look. And it's not gonna be a cross-gen title as well. So you're gonna see, because Forza Horizon, as good as it looked, was a cross-gen title. So it's gonna be something. Well, we'll look forward to it. I think we've covered everything. TGS. I wasn't really excited about it, but now that you reminded me about that. Forza Horizon is going to be a big one. There's a big one. It's the best-selling game on PlayStation so far, and that's a 4-year-old racing game. And Ghost of Yotei will probably supplant that, but still, it's Forza Horizon. And I reckon it's going to be a day one PlayStation 5 release as well.
I would think so. Yeah, I'd be surprised. I mean, didn't Horizon 5 sell like, as you say, it's best-selling PlayStation game this year? It sold like 3 million copies in a couple of months. Yeah, like a month or two. So
I don't even blame Microsoft now. We know they're
if it's selling that much on one platform, like, why wouldn't you bring the sequel day one, right? It would be stupid not to, I guess.
But the sequel could be, Luke, the best-selling racer of all time, potentially.
Could, like single entry. Yeah, it could be the best-selling racer of all time.
And that requires them to release on PlayStation simultaneously as well. And if they do it Nintendo as well somehow, I don't know if they will manage. The Switch is a bit underpowered, but I don't know. That could maybe really go somewhere else.
Yeah. It's going to be cool. Like I said, I'm very lucky. I will actually be there, so I hope they show it off on the show floor.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping they show it off on the show floor so I can actually see it in person. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about that. That game is going to be something else. And we know it's coming out next year because Phil Spencer alluded to the fact that it's the big three, isn't it? Gears,
Big Forza, and it definitely won't be Motorsport that he's referring to, because that is dead.
That is dead. But let's be honest.
Horizon 6 next year. Yeah,
Horizon 6 next year. Yeah, sure. All right, okay. Oh, but slightly off topic, but I watched this really messed up movie my mate Jake told me to watch called Weapon. A horror movie.
Weapons, by Weapons. Zach Kreger. Yeah. What did you think?
I just came back from watching it. That's why I was like, I was rushing.
Oh, is that why you were out? Yeah.
Bruh, that game, what the hell?
Zach, have you watched Barbarian, which was Zach Kreger's first? So go and watch Barbarian. Is messed up, right? So if you thought Weapons was messed up, Barbarian is also messed up.
Is it shot as well? Because that was really well shot, I thought.
Yeah, it's really well shot. Like Weapons is, and yeah, I love Zach Cregger. Like both of his films have been. I loved Weapons. I loved Barbarian as well, and he is the guy who's doing Resident Evil. Next.
Is he?
He's making a Resident Evil film. Yeah.
Oh my god, that might be amazing.
Yeah, and people are like, it's really funny because people are panicking because he's a massive fan of the games, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah?
why he wants to do the film. And he's like, look, this story is going to be separate from the games. It's not like it will have lots of touch points to the games. And people are like freaking out because he's like, no, Leon's not going to be in them or anything like that. And I'm like, just let Zach Cregger make a Resident Evil film, because if you've watched any of his films, he will do this justice. I mean, geez, like the villain in Weapons could be a Resident Evil character, fucking like freaky as hell, right? So like you could and the kids, with the way that they run and stuff like that, it's just wild. And watch Barbarian, like the reveals in that are like super messed up Resident Evil. Like this dude's gonna do, like I'm so confident it's gonna be great. Like finally a great Resident Evil film. So but that's his next film. So I think it's releasing next year. I think he's shooting it like imminently. So
would this potentially be the best film game adaptation?
I think it's got a good shot. I think it's got a really good shot. I think it could be like one of those those transmedia like conversions, like
Fallout.
the first season Fallout season 1, right? Or the first season of not season 2. First season of Last of Us, right? Where people are like yes, they nailed that. Like and Fallout shows it shows that you can have touch points of the games, but not really have any. Not have many characters that are like directly in the games or storylines that are directly from the games.
Yeah.
Like you can do that. So people just need to just simmer down on the you don't need Leon. We don't need Chris Red. Like you need certain things to be good.
Games nowadays. Like,
I know, Resident Evil 7 and stuff. Like they don't. I'm not going to spoil anything, but they don't really have many of the classic characters at all from the franchise. So you don't need them to have good Resident Evil games. And same for the film. You don't need these characters to be in the film to have a good Resident Evil film. You need kind of like needs to be the feel and the atmosphere, and you need you're gonna need Raccoon City and stuff. But other than that, you just let him cook.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, and let's be real. The first, it's got a lot of shit Resident Evil movies to...
Yeah, he's not got a high bar here, right? Like
exactly.
He could do something that's actually pretty average, but it would still be the best Resident Evil film.
Resident Evil 1, I did kind of enjoy I remember at the time getting a VCD player on my add-on for my PlayStation 1 and watching the Resident Evil movie with the lasers cutting people up in a really crappy CGI and those little dog things. It was such a shit movie, but I enjoyed it for it being...
I think the first one is the high point of that franchise. It's actually like, even though it's not
it's
great,
jank, but it was fun.
It was fun. It was really fun, and then it got progressively it's amazing to me they made so many of those films and they were so commercially successful. Like people really, like the wider public really dug them.
It's weird, isn't it?
I don't get it. Yeah, but
this could be bro. If you told me that, what's his name? Zach Cregger. Yeah, he's on my radar now after that movie.
Yeah, go and watch Barbarian. Barbarian's good. Yeah, it's really good.
I can't wait to watch that. That looks sick. There's also another one I haven't watched yet that I want to watch. It starts with S. Sinners. Apparently, that's a big.
Sinners. Yeah, that's terrific as well. That's really good. Very different from Weapons.
Is it very different?
Sinners is a horror, but it's kind of much deeper than a horror. Like it's more like got horror elements. I think a lot of the like preview media was, it looked like it was pure horror. It's not that. It's like a really interesting like timepiece as well, almost. So yeah, Ryan Coogler again, great, amazing director.
I'm gonna check that out. But without knowing anything, I went in blind. I have no idea what Weapons is about. I didn't even know it was a horror movie.
That's the way to go into that. That's the way to go. Same with the Barbarian. Just don't look at anything. Look at the poster. Just go straight into it. It makes it so much better when you don't know anything about it. So
yeah, and I love the way the story was told in it as well, because it followed different characters and just like it just worked.
It's like he did that kind of I really wasn't expecting it. He does this like in Weapons, this like Pulp Fiction thing where it's like, here's a story about this person, here's a story about it, and then they like intertwine, and then they come together. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I've never actually seen that done in a horror film. I think that's the first time I can remember where it's like, okay, we're bringing like these disparate plot points and characters in together, and then it, at the end, it just the ending is. I don't know if you started laughing like at the last 5 minutes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was in the when I was in the theater, I was like, people were like, this is like wild, like it's in a good way. It's great.
It was raw. I just there was a lot of the missus screaming. I'm like, what? Won't even look at it. I'm like, watch it. You have to watch this bitch. You didn't even like, watch it. It was so raw. It's just no spoilers, but the way it ends, just like, and I love that. I was like, I don't want, the ending can really ruin it, where someone a director has to go out of their way to explain everything. Like, this is concise. It had ended where it needed to end. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely got to check that out. I've been watching. What have you been watching on TV? I've been watching Foundation. I don't know if you're into sci-fi like that.
Oh no, I haven't. I've heard it's very, very good. I really want to start watching it. What I have been, and we'll talk about Foundation, but have you been watching Alien Earth?
I haven't. I've seen.
Dude,
is it good?
Fucking really good.
I'm gonna watch it now.
It's like,
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's not. I was so like skeptical pre-release. I was like, I don't know about this. Like prequel to the original Alien, like Alien Earth, something that's never been, kind of discussed, of xenomorphs coming to Earth, and then. And I know you'll dig it, because the first episode in particular, it's like super Blade Runner vibes. Like all the, like they've gone really down like the, like, philosophical, transhuman, like interesting questions.
That's what I loved about Aliens as well, when they talk.
Yeah, and then allied to that, there's fucking, xenomorphs everywhere. And then there's new creatures, a couple of which are fucking awesome as well. And they're just doing like super interesting things with it. So yeah.
Is it all the episodes out, or just?
Next Wednesday is the last episode.
Ooh,
so you're nearly there to binge.
By the time
by the time you've watched everything else, if you start now, you'll be ready for the final episode. It's in the budget, dude. It's like I was not expecting. It's super high budget. Like they must have poured like I looked. I think it's like $250 million. The show cost like one season. Yeah. So like, it's Noah Fawley who did Fargo. If you've watched that, and he directed and created this. So it's just been a big surprise. I just really recommend it. It's like, especially if you're a fan of Alien, like as a franchise, but it feels like they're really getting into the cadence of doing good Alien stuff now.
That's wicked. Not cheesy as well. It's going to be, they did a trailer, and the trailer that they released was just meet the xenomorph cycle. And I saw people complaining about it, and I was like, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. How did you even direct this? How did you even make this? How sick is your mind have to be to go through all the little scaly, gooey bits? But it works. It looks so good. Oh, I can't wait. I'm actually gonna watch that. I'm gonna do the timestamps, and then I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch Alien.
Yeah. Let me know what you think of that first episode. I think you'll really dig it. Yeah, I think you'll dig it.
We'll chat about it in our Discord. Check out the Discord, by the way. It's on the link is in the description below if you join the Patreon. I know I have been taking the piss with content. I don't make videos as often as possible. And in my timeline are 2 highly edited videos. The only reason why I haven't pushed them out is because I go back and watch my videos, and I think they're shit sometimes. Like the monologue is shit. I'm really upgrading my stuff, upgrading my tech. I spent a lot of money just getting new cameras and stuff. I just want to take it to another level. This is a hobby for me, but I want to take the production up to a much higher level, and hopefully that will be reflected in my next few videos. So thank you so much for bearing with me, and I'm really sorry for people who are patrons and just fallen by the wayside. I feel a massive sense of guilt by not giving you really good content. I want to deliver. I look at the YouTube space I've been watching, and I'm just thinking it's a bit dry. And including mine, I'm being critical of my own shit, and I feel like someone needs to step up in the gaming space a little bit in terms of production value, and I'm going to take it to another level. I promise you. with lighting, with all sorts I've invested in. So please bear with me. It's really good to have come back. Such a sick show, Luke. I don't want it to end, but
we found a lot of positive stuff actually. But yeah, it was actually a quite positive show. So that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's thanks to you, man. It was really good. Honestly, such a good conversation. I want to do that the TV segment again, but there's fucking batteries there, and my battery's miles away. So hopefully,
I did see it flashing. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's gonna die any second.
You need a dummy. Get a dummy battery. That's what I've got, and then you'll be fine.
But I'm just scared because I know I'm just gonna keep it on, and it's gonna burn out the lens or some shit.
Yeah, you gotta just be careful, like in terms of how much you run it. But yeah.
I'm terrible with that stuff, Luke. Honestly, this is one of the best shows I've had in a long time. It was, and I knew it would be. Thank you so much for coming on. Anything you want to tell the peeps where they can find you?
Thanks for having me. First of all, I really enjoyed that. That was really, really fun. So thank you very much. And yeah, for me, like I'm on X at LukeSteele90. I'm also on Gaming Arcadia every Saturday, which finishes just before your show starts, which is obviously with Acer. I Game On Daily. Their Discord is also great. And yeah, I also do the Indie Gamer podcast as well with Indie Gamer on YouTube. So if you're into indie games, doesn't have to be Silksong. I know everybody's talking about it, but it doesn't have to be that. Like some really cool stuff, and there are podcasts there and videos there sporadically as well. So yeah, just check me out on those.
Absolutely. Before we do, let me read these super chats. Are we surprised the tariffs are real? God, I personificate. I would miss that. Yeah, the tariffs are real, but Microsoft has a lot of money. It's $1 trillion company. They can withstand the hit and not give you two price hikes. It's bullshit. And Narika, Narika, I almost missed your super chat. You would have killed me. GTA 6, Forza Horizon 6, Elder Scrolls 6, and Gears 6. Oh shit, I didn't even realize that. Forza Horizon said that all sixes are coming together next year. I think I haven't even clocked that before, but there's only one title, and that's GTA that matters next year. They all matter, but if you're releasing anywhere in around GTA 6, condolences, because that is going to be the biggest entertainment release in terms of money it generates and the revenue in the history of mankind. Nothing will come close. Think about it. That's the biggest entertainment release ever in the history of mankind. What, Avatar? What? Nothing will come close to GTA 6. It's going to be a watershed moment. Everyone book their time off work. There's going to be pandemonium for people's in commerce, and all sorts of business will shut down. And I can't wait for it. This is one of my most anticipated games ever. Finally, a AAA game that will push the bar. All it took was the cost of 2 Burj Khalifas and Rockstar spending 2 decades on it.
All it takes is unlimited time and unlimited money.
Unlimited money.
That's it. Yeah. If you got those 2 things, you'll make GTA 6.
Exactly. Why can't anyone else do it?
Look, like the stuff that I know, it makes me laugh when people are like, I remember just quickly when Mafia came out, the old country, which are playing at the minute, cool. And like people were kind of very nitpicky about it and being like, wow, GTA can do this.
Yeah,
or they'll compare like Red Dead Redemption 2 to like a modern day thing. And it's like, you do understand the difference between like the budgets for these games, right? It's not because Rockstar are amazing, super talented, but they have unlimited, like basically unlimited money and unlimited time to make these games. No wonder they're fucking incredible, like in terms of game world and stuff. Yeah.
People compare when I was we'll carry on before the battery dies, but people got arguing me out, and I was saying I was a proponent for exclusivity because that enabled developers to hone in on one set of technology to deliver the best looking games. But people are like, well, about Red Dead Redemption 2, that's not exclusive. I'm like, bro, how the fuck can you compare any Rockstar title, man, with obviously the outliers of the entire industry? And you're gonna find that out next year when they fucking take over everything. But yeah, chat, I love this chat. It was really good. Actually really excited to watch Alien Earth after this, but I will smash out the timestamps, which I've been writing out, so hopefully it doesn't take me too long, and I will put it on Spotify, and I will look into putting it on Apple Play. I said I was going to do it last show. I'll do it for the next one. I've never done it before, and please bear with me. My entire spare room is going to turn into a freaking video room for my monologues and stuff, so hopefully you will see the shit I'm talking about. Finally I can get there. But thank you so much. Thank you, Luke. You smashed it out of the park. It was such a good chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. Smash the like button and thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you guys joining in, even though I haven't been here for a month. I'm really, really grateful. I'm really grateful for the super chats and the support and just turning up. Thank you so much. We'll see you very soon. Peace.